go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 Look, if you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out. 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 I can help you out.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you.
Hello and welcome to the World League Esports Impromptu Tournament. Brought to you, of course, by World League Esports. We are now down to our semi-finals this weekend, and I'm joined by Olympus. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you, Luther?
I am phenomenal. I'm super keen to get this BO3 underway. Today, we've got Vybn versus Bravado. Bravado coming off the win against Imperial and hot into the semi-finals. Like I said, this will be a best of three. We're going to Villa, Oregon, and Clubhouse if we go all the way through. Are you ready to get this underway?
I definitely am, and I'm so excited to get this match going because it's kind of a throwback to the WLE 10K in some way, because the current Vybn roster, part of it at least used to be in 80K and then much the same for Bravado, and they went head to head against each other there, and it was flames. It was a sparker of a match. So I'm hoping that we'll get the same showing today. As for how these two teams got to the semifinals, Vybn went unbeaten in their group stages. They were just blasting all the way through. And in the quarterfinals, they didn't drop a single map. For Bravado, they beat DNMK, who are our other semifinalists, by the way, in the groups. They beat Place Palace as well, but they lost to Exhale. In their quarterfinals, they had an easier time against Imperial 7, didn't drop a single map either. So predictions before we get into it. From this past performance, I would say Vybn have been more consistent. And again, not to mention the roster, they have some star players. So I feel like I'm going to place my bets on them. What do you think, Luther?
Ooh, I would love to go Vybn's way just because of, I've casted them before. I've seen what they can do, but I feel like you can't write off Bravado. So I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Bravado. I think they have what it takes. Also coming off with the momentum after beating Imperial last time. We do have all the players in the lobby. And let's see if Bravado can prove me right. Can we get this one underway?
That's the question that we'll be finding the answer to very, very shortly. Once again, it's a best of 3. Start things off on Villa. And this map, I feel like you can't really call it either way. Defender sided one time, attacker sided the other. And we've got to the point in Siege where it's, I guess, the team that just kind of steps up. The team that's on their stuff that day is the one that tends to play better, and they're the ones who take the dub at the end.
Absolutely. I had a look at the patch notes for the season incoming, and it was quite notably Thatcher and it was Jackal that were the most banned attackers throughout the competitive season for last season. And I think we're following the same sort of trend this season. We can see Thatcher go off the board once more. Obviously, universally very useful operator, especially on a map such as Villa. There's going to be a lot of heart breach involved. So it makes sense to get rid of him. And as I said, it would be a Jackal, just proving that there's been no change in the trends from the past season to this season. Now, in terms of defenders, it used to be a Mirror and a Valkyrie. Let's have a look at what they have in store for us. It'll actually be a Cade, and Cade makes a lot of sense. Of course, wanting to put all that wall denial on the floor makes it accessible from below, or destructible rather. And yeah, all in all, standard pick, I would say, for ranked or for competitive.
Yeah, pretty standard bans there, as Mira is the last defender to get eliminated. And since Bravado is starting on defense, I would assume that they're going to start on Aviator games. Though we've seen teams that tend to go for like an off pick as the very first round to kind of throw off the mental of the opponents. But I don't think that's going to be the case here.
No, not at all. We do see Koza pick up the IQ immediately. Now, quite notably, one of the things that came in with the patch is that IQ now has the ping 2.0 system. So she's able to ping the gadgets through the walls and floors and now identified for the rest of her team. Sandals will pick up the Yana, which makes a lot of sense. She has been used as that entry frag sort of operator. And the people, or the players rather, that have perfected the fake sort of Yana clone and then just push in, giving that second doubt to any defenders in our sight, makes her all the more useful. Figure will pick up the Ivana because, of course, he needs that hard breach, but notably, that is the only hard breacher on the board. So if we have some creative bandit tricking or something of the sort, we could see a bit of a struggle from Vybn as they try to create the sight lines through those reinforced walls.
You know, speaking of hard breaches, I'm not too surprised that Vybn haven't brought a Thermite, because this map, especially this site, the way the defenders can deny you, especially when you're trying to breach these walls that look into study, it's very risky for you to be a Thermite right on that wall trying to place your exothermic charge. C4s can sail through from above the reinforcement and so on. But I'm more surprised that they don't have an Ace, because Ace has one of the best ARs and one of the best guns in the game, period. Of course, it got a little bit of a rework this season with the changes to its recoil, but nonetheless, the utility that he brings in the same kind of class of hard breach as Hibana, in that you're able to get walls open from a distance, is so vital.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, like you said, Ace did get the AK-12 got a bit of a rework, got a bit of a recoil increase, but I mean, that's negating any attachment. So if you have the right attachment set up, I'm sure it'll be a laser like before. Sandals has now already moved up and looks to be a take from the trophy statue side of things. And the roam presence is still there for Bravado. No damage having been taken just yet in the very first minute. This is the secondary drone base, as I like to call it, for these attackers, trying to find out the lay of the land, trying to see where this utility is set up. Where's the weak point in this Bravado defense? Sandals will be burning the Aruni gate, the Surya gate, with that Yana clone. Of course, that regenerates over time, and they've already got Knight in control. Grenade being cooked now, sent down all the way to get rid of the shield, and down it goes. Minted having to fall all the way back behind bar, holding a very tight angle now with that MP7 in hand. But you can see the elevated stance there of dropshot. But no, he will fall off to pop a nade through into the vault, clear out any utility that is there. And it's just a bit of a lull here as there's no damage and it's half the round already gone.
A good projectile play coming out from Vybn using their flashbangs and grenades to get rid of the utility from the side of Bravado, who I'm a little bit concerned for because those ADSs, I bet they are closer to site and not exactly in that 90 hallway. So the players who are trying to hold on to their Minted, who was playing with that MP7 on that door, is going to have a little bit of a difficult time here. Dropshot tosses in a frag, but it gets snatched out by the ADS. We have less than a minute to go, and there's still rumors downstairs here being hunted down by Kosa.
Oh.
He eventually gets the wall bang onto Mystic very nicely there. And then Mitch gets the first kill for his team, and that's Dr. Dropshot gone. There are 40 seconds left on the clock, and now it's crunch time. The execute phase starts to come through. The Hibana gets the wall open. Minted is holding a close angle. It's being assisted. Devon, who looks the wrong side at the wrong time. Figure walks into Vault. He gets one, he gets two, he gets a third, and that's the first round for Vybn.
Very well played there by Figure, just allowed to exist in Vault Type 89 in hand, collects the last 3 kills. I was quite worried, I'm not gonna lie, getting down to the execution portion of that round. They left it very late with Vybn, but eventually they just stormed site and they got the picks that were needed. Quite interestingly, I found that Aruni was playing in Office, playing through Office, looking towards the aviator door. Now, Office is a bit of a kill box in my opinion, obviously with the door and the window, both from the outside and of course the main stairs as well. So had they established a sort of cross angle that she could have been eliminated very easily, that would have allowed a default plant behind the vault door. We did see Sandals move to rotate that direction, but that was quite late on in the round. I feel like if a drone had been committed there, they knew the Rooney was there. All you have to do is send 1 or 2 players, pinch them out, and you have the man advantage, and you have security over that default plant spot. So maybe something to look into there for Vybn for the next time they attack the aviator game site. But for now, we will be moving to trophy and statue. Let's have a look at the setup. We do see a bit of a different operator lineup being brought. We have a Goyo and a Maestro on the board, as well as Mitch on that pulse, which will be likely playing below. However, the hard count of IQ is still in play from Koza. Let's see how well he can put that detector to work.
I just want to point out that Bravado right now have 4 C4s. Last round they had 3 and we didn't get to see them really being used. And hope to see that changes because like you said, Mitch is playing the Pulse, and Pulse when played in combination with a teammate is just pretty much unstoppable. You just get C4'd from below. You don't really have much of a chance to counter it. Except unless, of course, if you have Kosa, who's playing the IQ, and we saw him going downstairs. I believe it's going to be a standoff between him and Mitch fighting each other. As you can see, he has his pre-placed drone here. He's trying to find out where these roamers are beneath the site and to get rid of them, as well as any other utility he might be able to shoot from below.
I like this assisted roam here from the Bandits, and the Pulse obviously Minted is going to be there to protect Mitch as long as possible, just so that he can give out as much information throughout this round. However, we do have Koza creeping up the pantry stairs. He's going to swing, he's going to find the Pulse, he's going to get the Bandit as well. That is quite interesting, as when Koza swung the door, Pulse was looking upwards, I think, so he wasn't, I don't think he got that heartbeat, which is incredibly unfortunate there, but it's an easy double for Koza. He'll take that any day of the week. Commando rips through the skulls of both the roamers below, and now Sandals will keep the grenade in his hand as Mystic swings with the Vector, secures that bottom control for a little bit longer, but no Sledge has made his way in. This astronomy hold is so important as it gives access to both bomb sites, so this Goya will be playing to the death here, Vector in hand. You see he will swing one more. Mystic picks up a double, that's Dr. Dropshot off of the board. All of a sudden we find ourselves in a 3v3, negating the impact that Koza had so far. However, that was 2 C4s off the board. Will that come into play later on the run? We'll have to wait and see. Koza still on the roam clear below, and some semblance of map control here for the attackers. However, there is a bit of a lull in the action. There's a yellow ping that you can see. I'm not sure what that is. But again, Mystic holding onto Astronomy for as long as possible. This is crucial to the strategy that they're trying to employ. This is crucial as it is a vantage point to do what you will. Eri now holding this Alder all the way down through to connector, but no, Kozak coming up. The red stairs will find Divan. The pre-fire coming out from Eri does not connect, and now, as I said, what will connect is the Type 89 figure. Collects one more. He's had a stellar 2 rounds so far. Diffuser going down from Kaiko. Only Mystic left. Vector in hand. He'll have to give up Astro now. He gets one. He gets a double C4 onto Koza and Kaiko, leaving himself in a 1v1. He'll have to ace clutch it up. The diffuser is down. 30 seconds left on the clock. Figure tries to stick to the diffuse, but no, will not be the case. He is moving around. The Vector rings out. Type 89 versus Vector. Who's going to win it out? Will be the Vector of the fire rate. No! It will be Figure to deny the ace clutch.
Oh my goodness, that round had me holding my breath the entire time. My goodness. I'm just going to have to take a second to compose myself here, and I think that's also going to be the case here because a tactical timeout has been called out from Bravado's side, which a little bit early if you'd ask me, but given the way Vybn have been playing, I would say this is like the right time to just stop that momentum before that snowball starts rolling downhill.
Sure, 2 rounds in to take a tactical timeout. Remember, there's only 1, I believe, per map. So to have it this early is, it's a bit sketchy. I wonder what Bravado are talking about there in their Discord. I mean, there's nothing really that I could fault them for in that last round. It was a good job there done by the Goyo with, but he nearly had that clutch. I thought the fire rate was going to win it out, but it turned to be the DPS coming out from the Hibana. So I'm not sure if they've isolated and identified the issues in the defense where Vybn are taking advantage of them. So let's hope they can figure it out. We are going back into the game, and we will be going back to Aviator and Games with a bit of a similar lineup. However, no Aruni on the board this time. Instead, we will have a Malusi. So Wamai as well on the camp of the defenders. So they're doubling down on that projectile denial. However, if we have a look at the utility spread coming out from the attackers, we do in fact have 6 nades and 9 flashbangs. So Jaeger and Wamai about to be put to work.
Those gadgets are going to be working and sweating for their lives. I just want to touch on that last round because you said there isn't really anything you could fault Bravado for doing. I just want to be a little bit nitpicky here because it's not like they're playing poorly. But when we saw Corsa sneaking up those stairs from the wine cellar basement into kitchen and getting that kind of sneaky double kill, I was a little bit worried because the exact purpose of Minted on that round was to prevent such a thing from happening to Mitch, who was playing Pulse.
I do agree. I think they were likely waiting for somebody to come through more the laundry side of things. I feel like you hardly see roamers down in the basement, so because I probably knew that it was free real estate, so to speak. But again, I don't think he should have been allowed to just waltz up and get that double kill. The crouch walk is silent, but how silent indeed. We have a lot of utility stacked up here on the red stairs, and Wamai will be guarding it with his life. That's Mystic again, Org in hand, and he's going to wait for the drones and the players to come through. Now, again, 30 seconds gone in the round. There's just some more intel being gathered by these Vybn esports players. They can see the prox alarms littered around. There is a quick spray, but does not get the drone drop shot. Does, however, get another piece of utility just lying in the hallway, so carelessly to drop, but easily dispatched of. Now, Sandals will start to take from this northern side, along with the Nomad. You can hear this is the roam clear coming out from Vybn, and some more scouting now to be done. Drones rolling ahead of the Yanoclone as well. There is the Banshee. Does not affect the Yanoclone, but now they know the position of the Wamai. Like I said, Wamai has to play here as long as possible. He is supported below by that Jaeger, and here the discs are coming into play. There goes the first projectile, but it is met with a magnet. Mystic is going to post up here. You can see there's no sort of presence down towards 90. Eri will get the first pick, though, with a cheeky C4 onto Figure, and that is the only hard breacher off the board. That is going to be paramount, you would imagine, to the Vybn attack. However, Sandals also taking some damage. Now, how will they get inside? They're going to have to push through doors and windows, and as I said, that the kills start to come through. Kozan Kaiko picked up 2. Mystic picks up 1 in return, but Dr. Dropshot gets 1 more onto Divan. He tries to swing it more towards Vybn's favor. Now, there goes the second C4, and that's Dropshot off the board.
At this point, it's a glorified 1v2 for Vybn because Sandals is on such low HP, and given that Mitch still has 2 toxic babes, he's going to probably die very quickly, if not to those, then to the SMG-11 or the MP7 that are still on the sides of Bravado. So this game, or rather this round, has gone much like the last one, in that in the early game, where you called it the secondary drone phase, not too much happening. Oh, Sandals is able to just sneak into study and get minted. Somehow completely unaware. Now it's up to Mitch. Still has last gas canisters thrown and a nade thrown in return with a flashbang as well, but not able to get him as he's just dancing around this bar here. He's forced to move position, and the final kills come in the favor of Vybn. I was going to say that that last round and the one before it were going in much the same way, where not too much action happens, and then mid-round, a lot of bodies start falling, it becomes a 3v3, and then in the end it collapses like we just saw.
Yeah, great communication there between the last 2 players on the side of Vybn, executing that pinch perfectly and making sure that they move that smoke around behind the bar. Obviously, with those nades coming through, the Jaegers were burnt, the Wamai discs were burnt. And yeah, just well executed there in the final, making sure they can clutch out that 2v1. And a tactical timeout obviously is called just so that we can get Dropshot back in the lobby. But now it is currently 3-0, Vybn building up the momentum. And I'm not sure. Bravado are playing well, like you said. I can't fault them for playing poorly. They are hitting majority of their shots. I just think it's coming down perhaps to the little 1v1s near towards the end, just winning out those little clutch moments, the little utility games here and there. But overall, I definitely think that they can start bringing this back. Perhaps you did mention that Villa can be either defender-sided or attacker-sided. It hardly stays on one or the other. So perhaps Bravado can come back on the attack. And let's hope they can at least get into this switch at a 4-2 split. Obviously, coming out from the defender side, you would want it 4-2 in your favor. However, this cannot be the case with Vybn taking 3 on the trot. We do get Airy back in the lobby as he also left but he's actually left the lobby again as this has become lobby simulator. Oh, he joined the wrong team. That is quite unfortunate. We are just waiting on Dropshot to get back in the lobby so that Airy can join the correct team. That'd be quite a transfer rumor, if I had to say so myself.
While we wait for the players to get back into the lobby, we can talk about how so far Figure and Corsa have been fragging quite exceptionally, if I do say so myself. Figure on the first round, he started things off with a 3K very powerfully for his team. And then obviously that 2K for Corsa on round number 2. And this is the thing. I was watching some of the EUL matches, and I think it was Doki or Benja Master who on their debut were just going absolute ham. 16 kills, 15 kills, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And the analyst was saying how when you have someone who's that plugged in, he's just going all out. There really isn't anything the opposing team can do. All you can really do is play to the strengths of that fragger. Or your team play to his strengths. And then for the opposing team, you just have to find a way to shut him down. So I'm wondering if we're going to see some sort of thing happening in this game, because like I said, there are some star players in both teams, and so far Corsa and Figure are the ones who are taking that podium spot.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if your fraggers are plugged in, what more do you need to do as a support style operator? All you can do is facilitate their frag as much as possible. We saw the pick onto the bandit in office. He was yellow ping. All Sandals had to do was pre-fire and clean up on that kill. We do have both players back in the lobby, and there was actually a 6 pick right at the end there from the Mozzie onto the Pulse. We are, of course, going back to... Oh, no, we're not going back. We're going to kitchen and dining. That's quite interesting, given that you've run the Pulse. Obviously, none of this floor here is destructible, so they can't exactly see fall from below, but he can at least give as much information to the top floor as possible. This is likely going to be to support the roamers. And if I'm having a look at the operator setup, our roamers are likely to be maybe Minted and Divan. Oh no, probably Mystic, I would say. The Jaeger Bandit GSG9 combo running around on the top floor. But we'll have to wait and see. No bandit tricking going to be done here. So those batteries will likely get destroyed quite swiftly, especially if you know the vertical angles to employ. Dropshot is once more on that sledge, of course. So he's likely going to be responsible for that. Now, let's have a quick look at the setup. Those bandit factories are down. We've got the middle panel reinforced looking towards bicycles. And only 2 players on site. Arena has dropped down to likely support. And let's have a look at the room again. Who's on the top floor here for Bravado?
Yeah, I'm also interested to see how the setup is being played here on the top floor. And you can see Mystic here. He's in I always get trophy and statuary confused, but he's in statuary. He's got the Aruni gates. He's got the reinforcements. And given that there aren't any impacts on the side of Bravado, there's not going to be any impact streaking on that statuary wall. So for the most part, Vybn have an easy job getting into that master bedroom and getting those walls open if they choose to do so. Eerie's set up here with his shield at the top of Astro stairs behind that desk. He's trying to find anyone who's going to walk in through from the bathroom side of things. Kosa with that new and improved electronic scanner, shooting away at the bandit batteries and all other kinds of utility that presents itself through the destructible floor. Dr. Dropshot starts things off here with the first kill for his team, and he gets C4. Doesn't do enough damage to kill him, though he is down to very low HP. He's aware of Eerie's position behind that shield, cooks a grenade, but a grenade is tossed back in turn, a gas canister, and that's the first one gone from the board, and the rest of them follow as Eerie himself is gunned down by Sandals. Divando is there for the refrag, and then he quickly replaces the trophy, finds another one, not enough damage to kill him, but just nearly figures left on 1 HP. The refrag game from Vybn is just immaculate at this point, as Mitch is the last one left alive in a quick turn of events.
It's so unfortunate that Bravado just got flawless by Vybn. I wanted to remark what a heads-up play that Smoke in Astra is. Obviously, if you've played a lot of Siege, you know those angles, those vertical angles, to be opened up to get rid and move those anchors around in the kitchen and dining site. So most of those angles come from bedroom and bathroom, extending a little bit into astronomy. So who better to have the time delay operator than Smoke, playing with that shield and the ADSs inside of Astro, trying to deny the push down the Astro stairs and even the rotates. So I like the heads up play there. It's a pity it couldn't have been executed a bit better. However, I have to give credit where credit is due to Dropshot flicking onto the Jaeger that was supporting from Astro stairs. About to cook that nade, does not get downed by that C4, which was very unlucky from the side of Bravado, quite lucky inside of Vybn. But I really do like the strategy that they try to go for. They're holding out for Astro as long as possible. Those smoke babes didn't last as long as we'd hoped, but I think it can work if they are given another chance. We will go to Trophy and Statue now, and actually a Frost to come to play.
Frost is an operator who has been enjoying a considerably higher pick rate than in past seasons, because she got that shotgun a while back. And of course, the shield and the welcome mats themselves are not too bad to have either. I've said it before on stream, and I'll say it again. I think Frost does better on a map like Chalet, where a lot of the entry points for the attackers are vault prompts. They have to jump through windows, and that's where you're more likely to catch someone off guard. Of course, the argument can be made that at this level of play, you don't really expect to catch someone off guard because of the droning, the communication, and when the enemy team knows there's a Frost, they're always going to look down before they jump into a room. Unless, of course, there's someone else in that room and they have to make the choice. Do I go for the gunfight? Do I look down? And then maybe you can catch them that way. But that being said, though, 30 seconds have gone so far, and for now, again, Luther, it's that secondary drone phase, as information gathering is the main thing that's going on from the side of Vybn. I'm very curious to see what the players on the side of Bravado are doing right this instant.
Oh my goodness, this IQ is showing her worth getting rid of the utility from below. 2 ADSs and a mute jammer now down. Pre-fires are coming through from Dropshot all the way through to side. He's got a long angle to fight that with that 1.5 times, but if anyone can, he can. Area is going to fall back now as Hibana does get the trophy, or the statue wall open rather. As time ticks down, 1 minute now gone, and Mystic still playing this red test. A lot less utility than we saw before being committed to that red test, which is quite interesting. Last time we saw the Wamai there, along with a lot of barbed wire and proximity alarms. Those Wamai discs also present. However, nothing of the sort this time, only a prone Jaeger. So would it be interesting to see, obviously, having decided that they can't hold it with all the utility, so why commit utility at all? And we're just going to have to play for sheer gun skill now. Half the round gone. Koza still below. Now assisted with drop shot. He's going to prep a nade. He's going to throw it. He will do almost all the damage to Airy as the Frost takes about 95 HP off his life. But the 9mm still in hand, and he is still kicking the bedroom control now in favor of the attack. And cross angles being established by the defense. Ooh, Divan just makes it past the window as Dropshot falls off. But Airy will get a pick onto Sandals. That's one of the entries off the board, and he'll get a double onto Figure. Those are the guys that are popping off. Sandals 3 and 3, and Figure 5 and 2. Last alive from that entry stack is Koza, currently going 7 and 2. So we'll see if he can persist and try and bring Vybn through this 5 versus 3. As I said, making sure there's no Frostmat on the door. He does take that bedroom control quite swiftly. They do have the sightlines all the way through, but they need to push in. And they need to start setting up this execute with 30 seconds to go. The cross angles are still being held. He does pre-fire the wrong corner, and there the Frost doesn't hear him and still looks towards the bedroom. But Jaeger does come through on the refrag, and Kaiko will get one more. Kaiko will get another after that. A 2 versus 2. It is the Nomad and the Sledge versus the Smoke and the Melusi. There is no C4. Are there Smoke Babes? Also, no. Diffuser going down, shotgun in hand. Someone's going to have to swing. Who's it going to be? It won't be Mitch as he gets dropped by a drop shot. Divan will get Kaiko, and the defenders will win as the Diffuser does not go down in time. A heads up play there from the defense as Bravado pick up their first round.
My word, some of the action in this game is just too close to call. Like when Divan ran across that window that Dr. Dropshot was shooting through, I was sure he's gonna lose his head. The same thing happened when Dr. Dropshot chucked that nade from kitchen. Because the Melusi Banshee had been pinged, so I was thinking that they're trying to eliminate it from downstairs, but actually they had their sights on Eerie, who took, like you said, so much damage. He was on such low HP, which was enough for him to get the 2 kills that he needed to get that round. And he just stood his ground. I don't know if he would have been caught by that nade if that round would have played differently. But nonetheless, that's good on Bravado for winning that. The last time that they were playing on Trophy Statuary, it was also a very close round. It eventually came down to a 1v1. So good on them to read the clock. Vybn had 5 seconds left when they started planting. They could not quit at that point and recover in good time, let's say. So good stuff on them. And now they'll be going back to Aviator Games. I'm curious as to why Vybn have not been using the study side of the map when they're attacking this bomb site. They have been very consistently going in from the northeast side of the map. That's where the Master Bedroom Trophy and Statuary is located.
Yeah, if I was to lend my mind to that, I would think that they want to go for that more roam clear style of play. So that's why they are now, like I said, roam clearing from the northern side, from Trophy Statue all the way through towards Study. Obviously, it's a little bit more accessible than Study. Kaiko gets the first pick onto Divan as the Melusi perhaps tries to run past. Don't know if he went for a spawn peek, but alas, they will have to play this round out without the MP5. Now, quite noticeably, Figure now not bringing the Hibani. He's opted for the Ace. So I'm not going to... Quite interesting to see how that plays out. Not sure why the decision was taken. Of course, Koza has also fallen off the IQ, and he's picked up the Zofia LMG, still being played, even though the assault rifle got a bit of a buff. They decreased the recoil ever so slightly, just to make it a bit more manageable. But let's see how it plays out now. Dropshot tries to open up the hatch, misses, so he'll open up the wall instead. The other ARX will claim the life of Minted, as that is the mute off the board. Mystic will get the refrag, though, onto Kosa, and that's the Zofia off the board. Now, that's a lot of utility loss. That stuns, that is impacts, and that is your main gunner. That should be quite interesting. Now, Aries still on the roam below. This roam presence has been quite proficient for Bravado, as they have managed to get the picks here and there. And Divan saying he may have missed his vault, and that's likely why he died. Quite unfortunate there. Airy will get one more as his roam continues, and that's Dropshot off the board. So those are your 2 entries, so to speak. SMG 11 in hand, still guarding the site for as long as possible. Airy's going to be playing still down below. He now relocating his Mozzie drone, and we'll have to wait to see how this plays out.
So the bodies have kind of evened out at this point. The time is still in the favor of the attackers. They have a mint and something to work with here as they get closer and closer to site. HP not so much in the favor of Bravado as they are on what's that? Less than full HP, let's say that. Figure now is on the red stairs, which is where Eerie was previously. I don't know if he knows that he is to the left. Tries to find a pick here, but nothing yet. Oh, Eerie with the swing. He does find Figure instead, and now it's a 2v3. Suddenly things are looking a little bit better for Bravado. Of course, the nade swings through, gets Bravado's Eerie off the board. Sandals is here peeking from Study into Aviator. He chucked that nade that got the kill, but now he's just staring down that barrel. Get rid of the Banshee, and then Kaiko attempts the defuse. 20 seconds to go. One gas canister left. It comes sailing through, runs right on the money, does so much damage. And now Sandals is the last one left alive as Mystic claimed the life of Kaiko. The diffuser is planted though, so that's good on Vybn. They have 30 seconds to stall this out. Oh my goodness, Sandals is just hitting his shots today as Mystic is down, but Mitch is there with the swing on the M590 shotgun. And with enough time to defuse, that's the second round for Bravado.
That whole round was won by that single smoke babe that came flying through the air and landed perfectly to do all that damage to the planter and to Sandals, both allowing Minter to swing out of Vault. And the patience game was just played beautifully there by the defenders, knowing that they could probably clutch it out there with that smoke babe in hand. And of course, Sandals just looking the other way before getting pumped in the back by that M590. Very well played, Bravado. Bring two back at the death, but now we have gone through that round switch, that attacker and defender switch. Like you said, the momentum has now been stunted, so to speak, for Vybn, and this was after the tactical. Both tacticals have been used, so there will be no more breaks in this match. Airy 6 picks from the Ash onto the Zofia, so Fragger for Fragger, just with a little bit more utility, you would say. And Divan actually bringing the buck. I like this pick, just because if you're not going to be bringing that IQ to find those gadgets from below, why not bring the buck that's just going to rip up the ceiling or the floor if you are the defenders? Now, I want to see if Bravado can keep this momentum going, even though they've gone through this switch. And we can already see the difference between these two teams just in terms of the operator lineups. Koza has picked up the Ella, so he's going to be playing that roam game. Shield has likely been deployed already, as you cannot see it in his inventory anymore. Yes, there it is, just inside the AV door looking towards Study. So I wonder if there's going to be more Study presence from Vybn as there was not from Bravado towards the end. We'll have to wait and see. But the site setup is just about complete, and these attackers are just about to get their second drones out and about in this map.
A little bit of a horizontal spread here from Vybn as they have set themselves up in Trophy and Statuary. Some reinforcements and some bodies have been placed there, as well as some roamers. I'm not too sure if Kosa is the one who's going to be roaming, as he has that shotgun. I would expect an Ella to play very tight and very close angles with it. Just wait and see where exactly he is located. For now, though, Bravado are doing much the same as the opponents were doing on every single attack, taking things from this side of the map. Trophy and Statuary is where the first line of contention will be. It's Dr. Dropshot here. He shoots out drones and ooh, almost shoots out areas put on such low HP, and then he falls back. That is textbook roaming if I ever saw it. Shoot some drones, fall back. If you're able to do some damage or get a kill, hey, that's a pretty bonus.
Yeah, I think this is just a testament to what you've said. I mean, there's been no study focus really from either of these teams, and this is because teams are tending to clear from the other side of the map. Now you can see that the roam game has been established also towards Trophy and Statue. So it makes sense now that they put their focus here, trying to get that man advantage early on in the round. Not this round to be exact, but potentially in the future. Half the round is gone, and all players still stand, except for Airy. He's a breath away from this, so we'll have to see how cautiously he plays out his life. Will he play to die, or will he play for his utility? Drop shot coming into contact with Divan, but Divan actually gets Sandals. That's the buck getting with that C8. Will catch one. Divan will get another, though, as the C8 rings out. However, he is on a sliver of HP as well. He's currently going 4 and 5, so not having the best game, but definitely making his presence known. The cross angle onto AV door is still being held by Dropshot with that 416C in hand. When he hit his shots, not this time, but he will tank some of his own. Kaiko has now rotated to study the pressure point that we've been speaking about before, and Divan will catch him on the rotate. Mystic looking for one in vault. He will find it, and that's Dropshot off the board. Last alive coming through from the bookcase side of the red stairs, and scores out with the Scorpion. He gets two at least. Will he get one more? Not just yet. He's about 51 HP. He needs to play for the retake here. It is a 3 versus 1, but if anyone can, cause I can, he will get all the utility that's been stacked up, but you know who will get him first? It will be minted. It'll actually be a trade. It's because I get the kill, but the diffuser was already down.
It was a trade, my goodness. Okay, so yeah, I don't think the tactical timeout for Vybn had been called because it was a quote-unquote budgetary host as we waited for the the players to get back into the lobby. But now I'm pretty sure Vybn have called their tactical timeout. And I would agree it's a good time to call it because let's just rewind a little bit. This map started with 4 Vybn rounds in a row. They were doing the most. They had the tempo and control in their favor, and it just felt like Bravado were reacting to how Vybn were playing. And then we had that little bit of a break. Round number 5, 6, 7 in a row now has been a change of things. It's now Bravado who are playing to their lives. That previous round, Divan just completely woke up. He had the buck, he had the C8, he was ripping shreds through Vybn's defense. He walked away from that round with a 3K. And this is the thing, they were also impactful frags. They weren't just like impactless frags that are stat padding, but he was getting the kills where he needed to get them. And mind you, that first engagement left him with like 20 HP or so.
Yeah, I like what you said there, that initially Bravado were playing a more reactive style of Siege, more so than a proactive style. Maybe now on the attack, they're taking those engagements, playing a bit more aggressive, taking the fights on their terms, as I like to put it. I do prefer that style of gameplay just because if you can control more of the elements, more of the engagements, and take it on your own terms, you're more likely to win it. And that seems to be what Bravado are now doing. Vybn are sitting in their corners and waiting for the push, whereas the push is coming fast and plentiful from Bravado. Now, drones are rolling around side. We are going back to... Yes, no, by all means.
I hate to cut you off, but real quick, I also want to mention that that last round, Bravado were almost all times the ones with the advantage in terms of man count. It came down to a 5v1, or is it a 4v1 at the end? So if there is any other showing of Bravado stepping up, that last round was it.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. IQ now being brought by Ares, so obviously identifying the need for that scanner has been picked up by the Bravado boys, and you can see he's already pinged one Valkyrie camera sitting inside of master bedroom. And you would wonder why there's a Valkyrie camera inside a bedroom, because they want to know just exactly where this push is coming from, because they're rotating below now on that Valkyrie. And some more vertical holes being opened up. First engagement nearly here for Koza, but he's going to run all the way back through Dani. He did come into contact with the buck, but nobody hit their shots just yet. And we still have that roam game on the top floor. Remember, this is Aviator game, so anybody you see not inside that... Oh, very nice pre-fire coming through. And Mystic hits the deck, courtesy of Sounds MP7 in hand. He'll get a double, and that's Airy off the board. Will he be able to get drop shots? Yes, he will. The res does come through and puts them in a technical 5 versus 3. As Dropshot is low HP, but we know what he can do. Sandals and Dropshot both going to have to play their lives out here. The GSG9 boys still on this roam game. Very nice shot there from Minted, reactive shot. And Divan does clip onto Sandals. So as I said, those are the two players to watch, and they've just been cleaned up by some very good work there from Bravado. Seeing the fact that these two players were solo, making sure to come through and clean things up. It is now a 3 versus 3, 1.5 minutes left on the clock. And they've yet to see out the execute.
So this is good counterplay from both teams. The C4 from Kosa is almost just mistimed, but in fact, Minted walks back, he backpedals into the explosion, and he is gone from the board. And I was going to say before that kill from Kosa came through that the story has been the same. For Vybin's attacks, for Bravado's attacks, we start off slow, and then in the mid round, a lot of action. We come to like a 3v3, and then now, as we go into the last minute of this round, it's Devon and Mitch against the last remaining defenders, and Devon stepping up once again. He is on fire right now. He's woken up, his gun is hot in his hands, and he just wants to shoot bullets into the faces of these defenders. The two of them are now situated at the top of red stairs. They will have to deal with all the utility that's still on the side of Vybn. The gas canisters start coming up. There's still one more to go, and it's taking away at Devon's health so much. A shot will just end his life as Mitch ends Figure's life on instead. Kaiko, last one left alive, but Devon, man, we can't say it enough how much his frags have been dictating the outcomes of these rounds. And what a shot, if I do say so myself.
Unfortunate there through the soft wall. However, it does go to show that these holes are working both ways in favor of the defense, and then in the latter stages in favor of the attack. Now, it goes to show for me how much thought has been put into place by both the attack and the defense, knowing what sightlines have been opened up courtesy of that defender setup. And it also gives you an indication of what they're wanting to look at. So, like I said, holes go both ways. Looking all the way through into study like has been a contention point, I would say, and is always coming into play with this AV setup coming out from both teams. So as much as we like to say that it hasn't been, or it isn't being played, or isn't being addressed, it always seems to be addressed in the latter stages or in the late round sort of area. We will go now to trophy and statue, and Frost has been picked up as well. It seems like this is the go-to Frost site for both of these teams. That ITA shotgun is so useful. You can see there the holes being opened up into the closet. That'll allow another sideline all the way through from the bathroom, but also a nice rotate should somebody want to be playing in closet. I know I watched Pro League 1, and there was I believe it was an Ella shotgun with a shield post up in the closet, which can be a very dangerous prospect, but will not be the case this time. And the Rooney still going to be in play. I think the Rooney is being played more for the Rooney potentially than those surrogates, although they are burning projectiles and denying some sort of entry, but they are dealt with quite swiftly by both of these teams. Now, the Bravado boys are making their way up to the map, and it's going to be a push in here from Devon, actually below through the crypt tunnel. He's going to be droning into kitchen, looking to make his way through here. Airy again on the IQ, and he'll likely be putting that IQ scanner to work down below. As I say, that drop shot will find Devon. The man with that hot gun in his hands will lay it to rest for the rest of the round, and that will be the vertical destruction off the board from that buck. So that could be crucial to the Bravado attack, and that may be incredibly unfortunate for them going forward. Let's see how they adapt to it.
I've seen a round play out like this where Devon is the first one to die, though they were defending when he tried the run out. But despite that early man advantage for Vybn, Bravado was still able to bring it back. And now that they are the ones attacking, I think that they are going to be up to the task, because now they'll start to feel the pressure. They have equalized the score counts, yes. So at this point, it really is anyone's game. And now that Devon, who was having such a phenomenal game, is still having a phenomenal game, is off the board, the rest of his teammates now are gonna have to step up, and they do just that. Mystic with a beautifully tossed grenade goes out and gets Kosa off the board. Now, not too sure if Kosa is still the IGL for Vybn as he was on 80k, because our scene is so small, there usually so many roster changes and stuff like that, it's hard to keep up. But I want to highlight that him playing that more supportive role, he's got 12 kills so far.
Yeah, he's got 12 kills indeed, and there are players out here trying to make sure he doesn't get any more. One of them will be Figure, still playing here in statue, trying to guard it with his life. Obviously, this is a trophy statue bomb site, so he's gonna have to hold on to the sides as much as possible. Mystic, well, I may have gotten two there. I think it was Figure also off the board. All of a sudden, we find ourselves in a 4 versus 2. Villa showing that it's quite attacker-sided today. Mitch and Mystic will clean up the ARX gang out here, fixing up the Aruni's head, putting it down into the dirt, saying, thank you, we have just taken the lead for the first time in this map. Remember, this is a best of 3. So for Bravado to show their bravado, so to speak, and come back from that 4-0 deficit they were in the first half, that is some incredible mental game.
That's beautiful to watch from Bravado because, like you said, that's 5 rounds they've been able to string in a row. They've come down from that 4-0 advantage, and now they're the ones in the lead for the very first time. And you said it's seemingly attacker sided. If that's the case, I'm kind of worrying for Vybn because they lost 2 of the attack rounds, and that could spell trouble for them as the remainder of this map continues to play out. I wonder if we'll get to overtime, though that is yet to be determined. I'm kind of hopeful, and I'm also thinking that we will get to overtime because now that Bravado have taken the lead, there's got to be a switch going off in the minds of Vybn, like, guys, okay, we can't throw that lead away. Let's come back. And looking at that last round, it's what I said. The situation starts where Bravado are man down, usually Devon, somewhat unfortunately, but then they're able to bring back the man advantage.
Yeah, let's have a look here. We have drop shot on the pulse with the UMP, possibly the worst gun in the game, but we know that he can do absolute bits with it. Playing below here, I wonder who's assisting him on this roam below. You can see the yellow pings around. It is actually the bandit. They're playing actually downstairs in the kitchen and dining site. And there you go. There are the pings coming out. He's giving all this information saying there's at least 2 people outside the door. There's 1 person just outside the wall. And it looks like it's going to be a dining room take. Kitchen often neglected in this bomb site just because there's a lot more space. But first and foremost, the agenda for the attackers, get that top floor control. They need to clear out into master bedroom, into trophy and statue, so they can start putting some pressure down vertically. Divan will get the first pick onto drop shot. That's the pulse off the board as he tries to get cheeky on the window, but will not be allowed to. Mister gets 1 more onto figure, putting them in a 5 versus 3. Bravado absolutely popping off, but Kaiko tries to deny the momentum that's been established for the past 5 rounds. The MPX is in hand. Divan will get 1 more as he proves that his gun is hot. The trigger finger is popping, but Sandals shuts him down immediately. Now we move to a 3 versus 2, 5 to 4 in terms of round count. Bravado looking to put themselves onto map point. This is a BO3, so if they can take this, it would be phenomenal for them. There is a player stacked up in pantry, but now I'm not sure if there's any roamers up top. I don't believe there is. I think everyone has fallen back towards the side. No, it is actually Sandals trying to go for the roam. He does get spotted on the drone. Will they move to intercept him? No, he will actually fall back down now. They need to hold the side. They're the last 2 anchors here, and the hard breach rings out to announce the arrival of Minton on the ace. Diffuser in hand. Has he gotten into sight to get the diffuser down? Not just yet. There comes the flick from Mitch. He will get 1. Will he survived? Kaiko last alive here in this 1 versus 3. Diffuser is going down. All the angles are against him. He's trying to play out for a memo, but he cannot move. Pre-fires are going through. There's the shots through the wall. Will not connect. Diffuser down. 1v3. 38 seconds left. And this is all but over for Kaiko unless he can pull off a miracle.
The siege gods are on his side here. I'm going to call this another round for Bravado, and that's going to be 6 rounds in a row here, which is not really unheard of, but it's one of those things that you don't quite see every day, and that takes them to match point. Kaiko, for now, I don't think he's going to attempt to play for it. He's just going to, I guess, use the time to speak with his teammates, hold this angle. Maybe someone's going to walk there, but Bravado not giving him anything whatsoever. And
Impromptu tactical timeout here coming out from Vybn. As you can see on your screen, Bravado winning round 10, 6-4 to Bravado Gaming. Absolutely phenomenal scenes. They're running it back 6 rounds on the trot. Completely unmatched and unheard of, so to speak, unless, you know, you had those Vybn 7-0s coming out. But no, not between these 2 titans in our Rainbow Six community. Like we said, there are now match points, or not match point, rather map point, and we will go back to Aviator Games. What do you do if you are Vybn Esports? Where do you go? What do you change? What do you think, Sunset? Not Sunset, sorry, Olympus.
if you're Vybn, I don't really know what you can do at this point because they've not really been successful on defending any of the bomb sites. And right now, you just have to go all out and prevent this match point on this match, or rather on this map, yeah, let's call it this map point, from going to the favor of Bravado. Because right now, a single mistake you make on Vybn, Bravado capitalize on it, and then they take you 1-0 up in this best of 3. So right now, I don't know if Vybn need to play more disciplined or more tight or more anchory. I'm not entirely sure because I was just trying to think back to how these two teams were playing, right? On the very beginning was saying it's not that Bravado were making any mistakes when Vybn were 4-0 up. It's just that, you know, Vybn was showing up. And now suddenly things have really changed. So it's tough to say like what exactly Vybn can do. There isn't, I believe, a silver magic bullet that can solve their problems right this instant.
Olympus, I'm not going to say that you may have jinxed Koza, but he's still on 12 kills, and he's just picking up the deaths at this point in time.
My word.
But I just had a look.
Curse.
Oh yeah, Caster's Curse in full effect here. Now, I just had a quick look at our stats, at our metrics, and Divan and Mystic are absolutely popping off. Like we said, Divan's trigger finger is hot, and he's eventually gone positive now, going 10 and 8, and Mystic there to meet him with 13 and 8 as well. But now, if we look at the side of Vybn Esports, we mentioned Koza was popping off initially on that IQ and on that Zofia, but he's not managed to pick up any further kills, which is quite unfortunate. He is one of the talisman players of Vybn, along with Dropshot and Sandals. But if we look at their stats, 6 and 8 for Dropshot and 8 and 8 for Sandals, so not able to go positive just yet. So obviously not winning their ones. Either that or they're just being pinched out and dealt with quite efficiently from the side of Bravado. And a rush here in towards the bedroom side of things, as the map control is now in the hands of the attackers. Quite swiftly at that, I might add, as the drones are rolling around through the bomb site, giving all this information out to the attackers and just giving them the clear to go ahead and take what they see. Now, these drones, there's the yellow ping. You can see the elbow of the player just next to Maps. And is it going to be a pre-fight coming out from the Nomad? We'll have to wait and see. There, we can see there's the yellow ping. He does see him. He gets the headshot. Is Mitch popping off, looking to keep that positive status here in this game. Because that does get a refrag onto Eri in a completely unrelated note. And that was the roam down below, getting that IQ, who was responsible for getting those bandit batteries off of the board. Now, this roam still persisting here from Koza, and they will have to deal with him at some point or another. It'll likely come out from Divan as he is still below. He can still do that destruction vertically, but he will have to worry about a T5 SMG creeping up behind him.
Koza doing the work here in this round gets rid of Divan, the other star player who's been having a phenomenal game so far. So 40 seconds are left, and once again, we're coming down to crunch time, but now it's going to be very, very crunchy for Vybn as it's match point for Bravado. Mystic going down this hallway is not aware of Koza there at the end, gets a triple kill for himself this round. Tosses out the Kumine, but he shoots it as it hit the wall instead. Bravado, on the other hand, 2 players left. They have the diffuser between them. They have 18 seconds to make magic work. They still have to go through all these defenses in Aviator and games, but a flurry of kills comes out. Minted gets 1, but the last 2 remaining players on his team are eliminated. Down to the ground, they're taken by that M590 shotgun, and it's not quite done yet on Villa. Vybn have now broken the momentum.
What on earth is going on in this game? Just as I feel like it's just a full caster curse type of thing. We speak about Koza and how he's stuck on 12 kills. He pops off, gets another 2-3 just to prove us wrong. We're talking about Bravado's momentum, running it all the way back against Vybn. Vybn decides to pick up a round, and I'm just incredibly confused. But what a spectacle that they have here for us. And we will potentially be taking it to OT here on Trophy and Statue. Figure picking up on the Echo. That is quite an interesting play. Obviously, we know that previously Echo did receive a bit of a nerf with those Yokais not being able to go invisible anymore. And but luckily they're likely to bring him just because of his shield. Why is he running the Supernova shotgun?
Oh,
is my question.
He might be taking a page from who plays the Supernova shotgun. on Hibana in APAC. I forget the name, but we've seen players use the weapon to its full strength. I mean, it's a shotgun. It's able to do exactly what he's using it for right now. Punch holes through walls where they need to. And, he has the Bearing 9, which I believe got a recoil buff a while back. So it's not the worst weapon to have either. And speaking of shields, since you mentioned he has a shield, I'm still curious as to why there really hasn't been much pressure on the side of study. And going back to what we said at the start of the stream, the hard breach trying to get into aviator games is usually such a difficult thing to do when you're in the study room. So maybe that's why we haven't been seeing teams trying to take from that side of the map. Though what we did see on the last round that I want to quickly mention as we continue in this one is that since there wasn't any pressure from the side of study, it allowed Vybn to set up a shield on that door into aviator, but not attach it to the door. It's kind of placed reversed, which I'm not entirely sure what your thoughts are on that specific shield placement, Luther.
I'm not too sure, but if we're going to chat about the shield placement, I want to know why the shield was placed just by the astronomy connector, and then the echo proceeded to open up a hole down towards the bottom of red. So if somebody's going to be lying there, that's an easy pick for anybody that knows the pre-fire. Ooh, double swing there. Sandals hits the deck. Divan will pick up the first kill of this round. Very nice teamwork being exhibited by Bravado as we saw the double peak come out to get rid of one of the stars of Vybn Esports. Now, Sandals potentially not going to have another word to say in this map if Bravado go on to win it. Of course, they are on map point. Ooh, drop shot sees the Yana on pass. Is below Yana. It is indeed Mystic wiped off the board courtesy of that MP5. Drop shot will now rotate to go down into the basement, looking potentially for a long rotate back up towards the bomb side as there is only 1 minute and 20 left on the clock. Kaiko hits the deck, and we're not sure where that came from. Was it a pre-fight to the winner? It may have been, but he looks like he may be recoverable as he hasn't been finished off just yet. Divan now hunting for drop shot. I think he knows exactly where he is. Who's going to win out the gunfight? It will be drop shot with a little pixel dot on his scope. Can you believe the actual shots he has been hitting this round? Because I will pick up one onto Airy though. But Kaiko is still done. Not recoverable, as it means they will have to cross the bathroom. And that is a bit of a rough spot. Let's have a look at how this is going to play out. There's 45 seconds left on the clock. And Kaiko slowly bleeds out. It is a technical 3 versus 2. But the passive angles are being held now. He will actually get rezzed. Dropshot gets one more onto Mint. It's a 4 versus 1. That's a triple on the round for him. And what is Mitch to do? Your diffuser's down. All you have is the Eric's quite slow rate of fire, although high DPS. He likely knows where most of these players are, but there's nothing much to be done about it. With 20 seconds left on the clock, we will be going to overtime.
We're going to the very last round of regulation time here as Kosa. We were saying how he had popped off and then cooled down, and then now he's popped off again, gets the last kill for that round. And it secures them their second round in a row after breaking the 6 rounds that Bravado had picked up. My goodness. It's just going back and forth between these teams right now. And if you thought it was impossible to call it earlier, well, you're in for something quite differently entirely. Now, overtime. So Vybn will be defending twice as they start on Trophy and Statuary. What do you think that means for how this is going to play out?
Oh, okay. Well, we want to say it has been attacker-sided, but then Bravado pick up 2 defenses and Vybn decide to pick up 2 defenses. I'm going to stick with saying that it is attacker-sided, so I'm going to give it to the attackers this time. So that is naturally Bravado. We are going to Trophy Statue. I think this has probably been the best defended site for both teams. Not sure why that is. Perhaps there's just a little bit more angles for the defense to play with. But I want to see where this utility is stacked up. We do have a figure on this Echo again, and I think he's still running that Supernova, so likely to play that Shield and Bearing 9 like you said. But somebody's going to have to pop off here for Bravado to take it. Will it be Mystic? Will it be Divan? I feel like our support players need to start contributing here. Minton going 5 and 10. Airy going 5 and 9. So if they can pitch in ever so slightly, I feel like Bravado might just take this. and no sort of deviation or variancy, I would say, coming in the form of Vybn's defensive stack. They're playing the same operators, so obviously quite confident in their strategies. They just need to win their ones, and that's a slogan I can have to see. You just win your ones, and you'll be a great player.
For sure. Talking about how some of Bravado's players need to step up. I mean, what more can you really do when you have Devon and Mystic with 24 kills between them? When they're getting all the kills, there isn't really much else for you to do except to support them by doing exactly what Mitch is doing, which is droning the side of the main stairs on the side of study, because we're saying how there isn't much presence on that side of the map. I think things have changed up a little bit, as there is quite a bit of a roam here from Vybn, as they're being assisted by one of those echo drones, gathering some intel as 3 players from Bravado make their way into this study, trying to get some map control. They've changed things up from taking the master bedroom side of things. The first line of defense they're going to meet is Sandals, who's playing right here. The vault wall gets opened. Eerie's not expecting it. He gets down, and Sandals is on about 50 or so HP, runs away. Oh, that's C4 almost getting a double kill, doing massive damage to Mystic and Minted, though that is the one and only, rather, one of the 2 C4s on the board. I didn't see that Koza has a C4 of his own. Nevertheless, it's not going to stop Bravado too much, as they're still taking control of that side of the map, and they still have some good time to work with.
Yeah, like you said, it's time to work with. Minute 15 left on the clock. First smoke babe will go out to try and stunt this push from the attackers, and there's the Rooney's head. Does Mitch hit the shot? He doesn't. He waits for a refrag. No, nothing to come either. He does get the down on to Sandals though, so helping his team tremendously here as Dropshot returns from his roam. Now the roam has been so important, I would say. The roam has been clutch for both of these teams. I mean, the time wasting aspect alone has been phenomenal. Mystic gets one more onto Dropshot. He turns the tables, turning this into a 4 versus 2. Sandals is still down inside of Trophy, but no, he does actually get rezzed. Nice shot comes out in chat now. 36 seconds left on the clock. Map control in favor of the attackers. Drop, drop, drop. Last alive is Devon. All of a sudden, Bravado are just hitting the deck. It's a 1v1. It's the 18-8 player. It's the veteran of the Siege community versus Devon. And Devon comes out with the C8. Was that the shotgun?
Yeah, the skeleton key.
And the skeleton key finishes things off, giving Bravado the advantage going into this OT.
Oh my goodness, I really cannot call it. I'm about to have a heart attack right now because of how I'm holding my breath. That round, it started off like all the other rounds we've been saying, right? But when it came to the end, there was so much happening. There were 3 bodies on Bravado that were downed, and then it was up to Devon to do the work, and he showed up. He's been showing up. He's been putting in the work where he needs to. And the same for Mystic. That, oh my word, that flick onto the player who was trying to get that roam in Study and Aviator, beautiful stuff. I love to see it. Maybe not so much for my blood pressure, but for the sheer entertainment and for the love of the good game, this is a beautiful thing to witness. And it's just so difficult to call this. It's so difficult to call this because that last round, Bravado attacking, they won. The round before that, they lost. The round before that, they lost. On round number 10, which was the round before that, where Kitchen Dining, which is the side we're on now, was last played, Bravado won that. So right now, it's just so close right now. It's a nail-biter of a match, if I do say so.
Absolutely, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, I was fearing for my initial prediction with Vybn picking up 4 rounds on the trot, and I was like, oh no, Bravado got this. I got my prediction. Nice, let's go. And then Vybn bring it back again, and now Bravado bring it back again. And it is actually the trading that's going on between these 2 teams is just a testament to the work that they have put in and the hours that they put in. The coaches behind the scenes, the analysts, the guys that make the strategies, the IG. Like everything has just been on point for both these teams to bring it all the way to this point. But now the fate of the map is with Bravado sitting on that 7-6 advantage. Devon is on this roam. He has picked up the Malusi, and he has somebody to support him as well in astronomy. Now, This is, of course, a kitchen and dining defense, but we've mentioned time and time again how important this vertical control is. And oh my goodness, a miss C4 opportunity, as they did see the sledge jump in, but now Dropshot is very low HP, 9 and 9, and probably 9 HP himself as well. Information coming out from Mitch there. You can see the pings from that cardiac sensor. And we'll have to wait. This roam game is still very much risk. Oh no, surely not. You don't get the floor back onto the... Oh no! If things couldn't get any worse, Koza does not get the pulse in time before that C4 flies out and cleans up Dropshot though. So 5 versus 4. Like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by a very cheeky C4, was that the roam game has been, I think, paramount for both of these teams. The time wasting aspect of it has meant the most, and that really goes to show how much communication is coming into these teams, and just the heads up plays and decision making on when they need to rotate back to the side. Because I mean, the longer you roam, the longer you waste the time of those attackers. Mystic does get a pick onto Figure, so Bravado very much in the driver's seat of this round. A grenade does fly out, and Sandals will pick up Airy, trying to bring it back for his team. Looked like there was about to be a TK coming there, but will not be the case. Remember, again, this is a downstairs defense, and all these attacks are still upstairs.
Yeah, they're still trying to get something going because they lost Dr. Dropshot as the first player on the team, who's the sledge. So now they're still trying to find a way they can use this vertical to their advantage. And Bravado, on the other hand, are just holding out. They're stalling things right now because they know they have so much advantage. Divan looks the wrong way. They're claimed by Sandals as he moves down these red stairs, getting things moving now. It's a 3v3 this time, but not too much for Vybn to get something done here. They need to find the kills. They need to get through the last remaining utility, the barbed wire, ADSs, and so on. But Minted is not going to allow it if he gets the head off of Kosa. Sandals is also on low HP. He finishes Minted off. Mystic is on the ground. It's a 1v2 for Mitch. It's a quad kill for Sandals. He's going to ace if he's able to get the kill onto Mitch, because Kaiko right now is the one planting the diffuser. He has 7 seconds to go. He's stopped by a heads-up play. My goodness, from Mitch, punching through the wall. And it's an ace for Sandals, and that's another round for Vybn. We're going the full distance here on Villa.
I don't believe it. Mitch had it. Mitch had it in his hands. He got the planter. All he had to do was leave, and he would have won the round. But instead, he chooses to go pro, and he goes for the cheeky play. And Sandals manages to get the pick just in time, putting us on 7-7. If your blood pressure wasn't up in the previous round, it certainly is up now. My goodness. All the way to round number 15. These teams will not give up, fighting tooth and nail for the very first map even in our semi-final. There's still at least 2 to go. And let's have a look at the 6th pick here coming out from Koza. He will pick up the Mozzie, looking for that drone denial instead of that pulse play. We will be going to Aviator and Games once more for the very last time in this map. My goodness, Mitch must be ripping the hair out of his head at this point in time. He had it. He had that heads up play, like you said, but just couldn't clutch it out with that UMP in time.
Oh man, that round was something else because, like we said, so much time went into Vybn trying to establish some sort of control upstairs. Dr. Dropshot, as soon as he jumped into that master bedroom, I believe at first his feet were shot through the floor before he was finished off by that C4. A little bit unlucky for Kosa not being able to get the head of the pulse through the scanner, but nonetheless, they made things work. They made it work, and Mitch, if I want to believe if he had had any other weapon, he could have stood a chance, because the UMP lowest DPS gun in the game, if I'm not mistaken. Just unfortunate. It was very, very tight indeed, coming down to a 1v1, coming down to the last 5 seconds. Like you said, none of these teams is going to allow the other to get away without a fight. And it's a fight to the death right now, as we are in overtime match point. This is the 3rd match point Bravado have been on. So you can be sure that they have their claws out right now. They have their feet on the gas pedal. Full throttle, they're going all the way. The first one to fall, though, is going to be Mystic. He has been exceptional as he has 16 kills and 12 deaths. But that's all he's going to be doing for Villa as he's shut down to the ground. The refrag game, though, from both of these teams has been immaculate because Sandals, who's also been having a phenomenal game, he's gone. Same thing for Devon, and it's just back and forth right now. Mitch on red stairs is trying to get a refrag onto the player who's at the top. That's Kaiko. He's fully flashed right now, closer to the study door than anything, and the distance works out in Mitch's favor as he gets the headshot with that 2 times on the AGOG. 2.5, sorry.
This round has been, I feel like, a perfect representation of this map so far, with these teams literally trading 1 for 1 as they move throughout this map. The communication has been on point, the angles have been on point, and it's just the trades have been phenomenal. Now we have moved into 1 minute and 20 seconds left. It is a 3 versus 3. All players in lobby, aside from Airy, have 100 HP to play around with. Now, you would say that this is going to favor the defense as the time ticks down, as time is, of course, the 4th defender that these attackers have to fight up against. Now, how will they choose to address this? Because I'm playing on this 90. There's a red ping coming out, and they know exactly who's playing towards the bookcases there. Drop shot for inside the side. MP5 wall swing will do a lot of damage to the IQ, and Airy narrowly missing that. There's the ace. There's the refrag coming out, but Minton will pick off drop shot before he goes down. So Minton and Airy both low HP, so it's still completely winnable for Koza and Figure. All Figure would have to do is get on the Maestro Evil Eye, and he could get rid of both of them just like that. Diffuser is still in hand though with Mitch, and as I mentioned his name, he will take a lot of damage, but Koza will finish him off with the C4. This is looking like it's all Vybn's way now. Diffuser not picked up as you now have to hit F. There's a quick peek from Koza. He's coming out clutch. He's got 20 at 2.0 KD to win things up. There's one more player on AV door. As you know, the diffuser is in the hands of the IQ, has moved in, but Figure will clean things up with the Elder on Aviator, and game's first map goes to Vybn.
Oh my word. Oh my word. Earlier in this tournament, I said Exhale Gaming had given us the closest matches up to that point because they went 8-6, but nothing comes as close as this. 8-7. Just look at the kills on that. Corsa, clean 2.0 KD, like you said, 20 kills, and the side of Vybn were really on point on those last 2 rounds. That's not to say that Bravado weren't playing for their lives.
That was, wow, an absolute barn burner of a map 1 for our semi-finals here for the World League Esports Impromptu tournament. This is exactly what I came to expect from these 2 teams. These are 2 of the biggest organizations, 2 of the biggest teams in our community. So for them to go all the way on map 1 goes to show how much work they've been putting in behind the scenes. Like we said, not giving up a single inch. And that was Villa to a T. The trade game, the roam game was all perfectly played by both of those teams. And we'll have to see how they manage to implement it now. We will be going over onto Oregon for our second map. We will have a bit of a 5-minute break. And if Oregon is anything to go by next to Villa, I'm going to have to get some more water.
See you after the break.
of the night sky, trying to make me see your stars. But the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. In the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
Welcome back to the World League Esports Impromptu Tournament here on YouTube Gaming, fresh off of a barn burner of a villa map between Vybn Esports and Bravado Gaming. Olympus, I feel like my blood pressure is reduced ever so slightly, but who can forget the ace from Sandals and Kozak with a full 2.0 KD dropping a 20 bomb on this lobby like it's an Apex game.
I think that's going to be one for the books, Brandon. Yeah, no one is going to be able to forget what a map that was. It started off Vybn all the way 4-0, and then Bravado took it back 6 rounds in a row. And then from there, it was just back and forth. Literally impossible to call who was going to take it. But at the end, Vybn, they really stood up. They showed up. Sandals with that ace, my word. Kosa, that 20 kills. They did what they needed to do, and they took that first map in this best of 3. The players are all ready to go into the second map. It's 1-0 up for Vybn, and we're going to Oregon.
Yeah, I think we're all the players in the lobby. We're ready to get things underway. And without further ado, we will kick it off. Can Vybn continue the momentum that they've just picked back up into Oregon? We'll have to wait and see. They will be on the defense first. And what I'm quite keen to see now is if this, like I said, if this momentum, if these trigger fingers are going to continue through. Obviously, we saw Divan really get hot on the handle there on his buck, really fragging out towards the latter stages of the map. But also, is Dropshot going to start waking up ever so slightly? Yes, he can't drop 20 kills every single map, but we know what he's capable of, and I'd like to see him pop his head up every now and then, pick up some 3 and 4 Ks. Now, I'm going to turn our attention quickly to the operator bans. Of course, Thatcher off the board once more. That's not surprising at all. And secondly, a Flores. That is quite interesting. As we know, Vybn do tend to play that Flores mainly to get rid of any sort of shields that have been placed around the map, especially on a map like Oregon, where it is not a long distance from where your drone is deployed to the destructive point that you're trying to find, the point of interest. A Maestro ban, quite interestingly enough, coming out here as our first defender ban. And Olympus, what do you think our last defender ban is going to be?
I would say Mirror, because Mirror is a pretty standard comfort ban for any team, but I wouldn't be entirely surprised if you saw something like a Valkyrie. And yeah, Mirror is gone. So that Flores ban from Bravado, I think maybe they're trying to, like you said, just counter how Vybn tend to play, or maybe they are thinking when they go onto their defense, they're going to be bringing Goyo and a lot of other shield operators. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays. Speaking of Goyo, Figure is going to be bringing him. As Vybn start on defense, they're going to laundry that basement bomb site as the primary one. Long ago, way back when Oregon, before it had its rework, it's such a while back to think about it, that this game is almost 7 years old.
Yeah.
Back in my day. but back then, this site used to be the primary one, and that's because it was the strongest one, and then also there wasn't any banning system. So Mira just used to wreak havoc for people when she set up in that little closet. That is not so much the case, as this map has changed, and these days I would say that the double domes, the kids' domes side of the map is the preferred bomb site for most teams. And that's why it's kind of curious to me that Vybn decided to go here as the first one.
Yeah, like you said, the bomb sites have changed, but so have the operators ever so slightly. We can now punch out those mirror winners, reducing the vision from those mirror players. We know how powerful they were previously and how powerful she is in Oregon, which makes a lot of sense why she is being sat on the bench. The Spanish operator did not get her visa. She will not be coming through to the United States of America. Now, let's have a look at our setup down in the basement for the defense. We did see the Goyo shields being placed out there. Koza has picked up the Cade, which makes a lot of sense. You want to protect those hatches for as long as possible. And with Thatcher being off the board, that means Airy on this Maverick will be given some work to do. Sandals preparing a spawn peak for 16C in hand, but I don't believe anybody spawned in that general direction. Now, look at the rapid pace at which Bravado are now entering into Oregon. There are the red pings coming out. They are well aware that there are two players coming up the freezer stairs, and Mystic is going to be creeping up now as they've taken the small tower side, and the roam clear is in full effect from Bravado Gaming, looking to prove that map 1 was just a showing of what they can do and that there's so much more in order. There's the Yana clone just face checking everything. Obviously not going to use a real drone, not going to waste that bit of intel. The Yana drone does tend to regenerate, and thus makes it a lot more better, or a lot better rather, just to face check angles and check the lie of the land in terms of utility. Now Divan has worked his way down on playing on Ash now. G36 in hand, gets rid of at least one shield, I think. Yep, there's the Goyo shield down. Wamai will be popping his disc. He needs to play his life out here, as this has been the general trend, is to take into Freezer and perhaps push into Laundry, but we'll have to wait and see at how things play out here. A minute and a half left on the round, and it's a bit of a lull in action.
So earlier we saw Sandals repositioning some of his ADSs as they've noticed that Bravado are not going to do the construction and big tower take. Instead, they're focusing on Laundry and Freezer, which is going to be a little bit difficult for them right now because that Freezer hatch had been electrified by a Kaid Claw, but given that Minted and Eerie are both hard breaches, and especially that Eerie is playing that Maverick, easy work was made of it. Though now it's a bit of a stall, as Mystic was still kind of holding a long angle up here on the top floor, and Mitch is on a roll as he's trying to find Kosa. He's been wrecking havoc for them. He got the first kill onto Divan. He's attempting to go for the second one on these main stairs, completely flashed, but he's able to get another kill for himself this round, eventually shut down by Eerie. And now look at the attackers. There's two of them left with about 130 HP between them. 30 or so seconds left, not too much time for them to make something work. They don't have the diffuser either, so the prospects for them are looking so low. Eerie goes for the swing. Tycho is the better one in that engagement. Mystic quickly following up. Will he line them up? He gets one, he gets two, looking for the third, not able to clutch it out there. Sandals is able to correct some of the mistakes that were about to be made by his team there. Gives themselves that first round.
What? Oh, that the double peak and then the double dead. That's a bit of a rough one. We will, I think, pause for a second just to allow the player to get back in. The HUD bug, we know, is rife in the game at the moment. And what I noticed there specifically was the changes to the flashbangs that UB have introduced now in the game. Obviously, the flashbang, if you are affected by a flashbang, if you are in the radius, then you definitely get flashed. The only thing that determines now, or is determined, is how long you are flashed for. And as we throw it back to our cams, what's up? We out here. But no, as I was saying, the patch notes coming out telling us that if you are affected by a flashbang, if you're in the radius, you will definitely be flashed. The only thing that is determined now is the radius. So it takes into account the direction you're facing and how close. And that is the we saw Koza there fully flashed, as that he was well within that radius facing the door, but somehow he managed to get that pick off, but then it gets instantly refragged. And as I said, the communication has been on point for both these teams in terms of their refrag game. So that was not surprising at all. The first round going to Vybn Esports. So continuing their momentum off of a absolutely maddening Villa match.
Yeah, these two teams are playing beautifully, and it's something of an art form that Vybin have perfected, playing together. So whenever I was witnessing the roamers from Vybin, two of them were always like very close to each other, just ready to get the refrag, playing off of each other in a way. It didn't
Yeah.
quite work out for for the last two who were caught there at the bottom of Freezer's stairs. But yeah, that's the thing that I want to highlight from the first round. Vybin are in sync right now. It's like they are on the same wavelength, and their communication right now just has to be properly dialed in.
Absolutely. I think, who do you think won this operator ban phase? I know it was a Thatcher, a Flores, a Maestro, and a Mirror. So, in my opinion, or rather, my opinion first was that this ban really favors, I would say, the attackers. The Thatcher and Flores not completely necessary, as I mean, we often practice without it. We play ranked games without play casual games. No one really picks it just because they're default operators that are banned. So, in my opinion, this ban phase has gone in favor of the attackers. What do you think?
Hmm. I tend to agree with you because Maestro and Mira are huge influences in how defenders play around. Given the fact that they are banned, it's a bit easier for the attackers to play. I tend to agree with you. Though we did see a Goyo Shield and we did see Flores being banned out. That little interaction between them tells me that the defenders still have enough utility and enough operators up their sleeves to make something work. And I'm just curious as to how that's going to play out. The site that we went to first was Laundry, but like we said at the start of the stream, Kids Domes is the one that I usually expect to see. And the evolution of the meta just a few months back when it was very heavily Ash and Zofia focused was to get control of that small tower and dining side of the map, as we did see Bravado doing, and then shoot out those projectiles to get rid of the shields from below.
I really can't wait until we have the new operator Osa out of quarantine. I feel like she's going to be worked into a lot of these team setups, these team strategies with that shield that she brings, facilitating a lot of plant spots, more plant spots than you would expect in the bomb sites, even such as Oregon. I mean, sneaking in, getting a shield down, if you had to sneak in through the laundry door just there and having to fight heads up with any anchors inside the site, I think she'd be super useful. But we are busy getting these players back into the lobby. The bans have been set. We're back here. We're waiting for one more person. It is Dropshot. So nearly have the game up and ready for you. This is the, of course, World League Esports Impromptu tourney. And shout out to World League Esports for, I think, stopping the drought in Siege content that has been coming out, the competitive play. So shout out to them for organizing this. This has been a phenomenal tournament so far. We've seen barn burners, we've seen upsets, we've seen absolutely cracker matches and maps like the one previously. Now we do have Dr. Dropshot back in the lobby, so we are ready to get things underway. I think we're just making sure that the sides are correct before we kick things off. Our observer's just doing his last little checks before we get there. Thanks, Rickster, for being here and bringing Siege to the community.
You mentioned how there's been a drought of Siege content. Well, we're pleased to tell you that there's going to be yet another match today. The last semi-final of this tournament will be Sinister 5 versus DNMK. That's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Correction on my earlier tweet that said 5 p.m. It's going to be 6:30 p.m. Sinister 5 versus DNMK. That's going to be the last semi-final. And at the end of today, we'll find out who will be seeing in our finals, which have been moved to the 17th, which is the next Sunday. So, is it going to be Bravado? Is it going to be Vybn? We'll find out as we get right back into the swing of things. Lut, I just want to talk about the Osa that you mentioned. And yeah, she's a fun player. She's a fun operator, I mean. And it gives you opportunities, like you said, to plant in positions you might traditionally not have considered. But the thing is that glass and other bulletproof utility in this game has been changed over time in that now it's destructible to some extent. So just a single impact, a single C4 is able to get rid of any sort of outposts that Osa might think of implementing when she's attacking. But that's not going to be happening as she's not out of quarantine just yet.
Yeah, we'll have to wait until the next tournament or so until we see her in play. But for now, we're ready to get things underway. We are back into Oregon. It is Vybn 1-0 up on the defense. Getting, like I said, straight back into it now. Oh my goodness. I think between these two teams, it's been absolutely action-packed in terms of the trades, in terms of the just general 1v1, 2v1 gunplay. We've seen aces, we've seen clutches, we've seen last-second kills to give attackers the win. And this is just a jam-packed matchup between Vybn and Bravado. What great pickups from the Orgs, and what great investment this has been into our Siege community. We will go now to Double Dorms, your favorite site, your primary site. Let's have a look at how things are going to be set up here for you.
Mitch will be bringing that Jackal to counter the roam game that we saw from Kosa earlier on in that first round. This round, he switched things up. He's playing the Wamai instead of the Kaid, who instead is being played by Figure. So a good read from both of these teams, consistently and continuously changing things up and adapting to each other to make sure that no one really has a read on how the other team is playing. I'm hoping to see this kind of adaptation coming in a bit quicker for Bravado this time, because last round it was 4 rounds in when they really started to shake things up, and they chose to call the tactical timeout in round number 2, or should we say between 2 and 3. Vybn were 2-0 up and they called for their tactical. I don't really know whether it helped them directly because they lost the next 2 rounds. However, they did finally wake up and they gave us that match that was pure flames, absolutely fiery to watch. So this time, I'm hoping that things go a little bit quicker for Bravado in terms of adapting, and we'll see whether they're able to adapt to the
incredibly unfortunate there, but like you said, we were hoping that Bravado stop playing that reactive game of Siege and start playing proactive, start taking gunfights on their terms. They are starting on the attack, and on the attack is where they started to bring things back on Villa. It hasn't started that way on Oregon, however, which is unfortunate. But again, this is only round 1 as a wait to get the stream back up. It should be noted though that I think there was only, I would say, 2 rounds in Villa that the attackers actually got the diffuser down, and then it was counter diffused by the defenders. Most of our rounds do come down to deaths, which speaks to the priority, I think, coming out from both these teams is to get those kills more so than get that diffuser down, as default plant spots are pretty guarded, I would say, as most strategies are centered around stopping those plants. Now, I'm not sure what is going on at the moment. We probably may even throw it over to a temporary break. I'm not entirely certain. Waiting for any word from admin or our observer. And I have quite literally 0 information to give you, aside from the fact that Vybn are 1-0 up. We can't see the game. Not sure what's going on. Like, I can waffle, but
a little bit unfortunate that is, but we'll get things sorted out as soon as we possibly can. Like,
aha!
Running.
we're
like
back
into the swing of things. The game has been continuing. The round has been going on. 30 seconds are left on the clock. Sandals is the last one left alive as triple kills are coming out from the side of Bravado. Mystic and Mitch, the 2 teammates who have been popping up and popping off without the diffuser. It's in attic, being very closely guarded by Sandals, and he has a god spot. This angle is impossible to fight if you're inside the attic itself. They're somehow able to sneak away with the diffuser in the cover of that smoke. Sandals drops down, takes some damage from the fall, but Mystic is there to find his head. Round number 2 going in the side of Bravado. Sorry, I was gonna say the defenders. The side of Bravado, and it's score even 1-1 apiece.
What a moment to get back into the game there. There's just a triple for Mystic. He's hopping through the window. There's just frags dropping everywhere. Diffuses down. Sandals is in T3, just watching the defuse. I'm like, what's going on? It was absolutely ridiculous. But that's how the games have been going. That's how the rounds have been playing out. There has been plentiful of action throughout every single round that we've seen thus far today. This is Bravado versus Vybn, and we expect nothing less. Mitch has picked up the Jackal, which I think is quite interesting. A point that I wanted to make a bit earlier is that Oregon is significantly smaller than Villa, so it is significantly easier to roam clear, and the roam clear has been so effective from both these teams that I'm not quite certain why a Jackal would be brought out now. The drone game has been exceptional. The communication has been on point. So quite interesting. I feel like Jackal may have been a bit of a wasted operator in this particular map. I think they could have brought something else. The buck would have been phenomenal if Devon had picked it up, just ripping up the floorboards beneath these defenders' feet. But who knows? Obviously, these strategies have been tried and tested. They've been run through countless times. They've been deployed in their scrims. So can't fault them. Just we'll have to see how Mitch plays this out. Now, it is a double dorms defense, and we have 3 defenders inside of the site with 2 roamers down below. Let's have a look at how these roamers are going to be addressed from the side of Bravado and where they choose to enter.
Okay, so the last round that this site was being played on, we didn't get to see how either of these teams really played them. It came down to a TDM in that last 40 seconds. So it's going to be a good chance for us, the casters, and you, the viewers, to witness how these 2 teams play against each other on Oregon. Going back to that Jackal pick on Mitch, it should be noted that when they were on Villa, Jackal was banned. So it's not like it's the worst operator to bring, right? Because he has that C7E, it's a very good rifle. He also has the shotgun as a secondary, and just tons of utility with his Inox scanner in tow as well. It's good to hunt out roamers such as Dr. Dropshot, who right now is here in between this kitchen corridor and the bottom of Tier 1 in the big tower. He's looking up through this hatch. He's trying to find out where these people are for breaking into the attic. Making good work on that attack as they're not wasting time. They're getting things moving right now.
Yeah, Mitch placement here on the back of the attic stairs area, now trying to also open up the windows just so they can try and pinch out anybody that isn't yet. But this is quite a well-known angle Dropshot is holding from behind the sandbags up through into the attic hard wall, and their figure does take a little bit of HP damage. There is a swing coming out from area. Does not get the goal. The nade is being prepped to be sent over the bunk beds. Will it connect? It will be caught by a magnet. And as I say that, Sandals will show that Mystic is in fact a bullet magnet as Dropshot gets one more on to Devon. He is still playing below, so primed to push in below up the attic stairs. Do they know his positioning? There does come a pre-fire, does not connect, and if he'd walked ever more forward, or even a little bit more forward, he may have found himself on the other end of a couple of bullets. Area gets one, but as I said, that Dropshot gets one more, and this hard hold from beneath attic and in towards attic has proved paramount here for the defenders, as this has been the hotspot for activity. The attackers choosing not to rotate through towards the dorm side of things, and last alive is Mitch. You can see all his teammates are watching him try and clutch us out. He does pre-fire, does not connect, and he'll have to reload as Dropshot pushes up the attic stairs to clean things up.
Well, you said it, Luther. It was all attic all the way. That's where all the action on that round really played out. And Dr. Dropshot, of course, being down below in meeting, assisted things in that regard. And what a solid defense from Vybn, because it seemed like Bravado didn't get anywhere near close to the bomb site. They were just being kind of funneled through these choke points in attic. And I'm also interested into the choices of hard breachers, because what I'm used to seeing on that attack is a split push. One goes in from the side of attic, the other one from the main bedroom, and then opens up that game's wall and gets the plant beside that foosball table. So them choosing to push mostly from one side might have been to their detriment that round. And maybe they'll switch things up when Vybn go back to defend that bomb site. For now, they'll be going back to laundry. When they were last defending this, they won it, and I said it was mostly due to how well coordinated that kind of 1-2 punch of a roam game they had. We'll see whether that Inox will be put to use to eliminate that roam. We'll see Kosa back onto the Kaid. He was on Kaid the last time they were defending here, and he was running circles around them in Armory. They're assisted a little bit by Sandals on that top floor roam.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I like this the duality of this combo and the assisted roam play that has been enforced so far. Sandals just makes it up to T3 before the bullets come flying in through the window. There are no doubts away there. Do they see the Jaeger's head? They know now that the drone is dead, that he is there. You can see Koza narrowly navigating here in the middle floor. Mitch does send the ping out, let his team know that there is someone lurking nearby. The drone does roll past, and the org will clean it up. Now, that's a little piece of intel lost and gained, you could say, now knowing exactly where Koza's positioning is, but also losing that little bit of utility. Sandals has actually fallen off T3, rotated in towards the attic, so trying to adjust the way that he plays around. Obviously, tower seems to be a huge focal point for Vybn, as dedicating him and solely him to guarding it for as long as possible. They can see that this is where the attic pushes have been coming through, so having a top tier fragger like Sandals posted up here is a great decision from the team over at Vybn. The Yana drone makes it all the way through to dorms before it expires. Kaiko playing behind this Goyo shield here, as it's just a bit of a lull in action. These attackers trying to figure out what is the best way to push here. It looks like it's actually going to come through here. The garage area, this blue section, is the pre-fire going to come through from the org? The smoke wave does go, the pre-fires don't hit, but the Toxic Babe will keep them at bay for a little bit longer. The Goyo shield does go, and now Kaiko is going to move over to Harry Potter. So this elbow area is crucial to keep control of. As I mentioned, this is a hard breach centric sort of map. They want to get into elbow, they want to open up those hard walls, but they cannot do so with the smoke and the Wamai still guarding them as they have been doing. You can hear the Maverick getting to work on the cubby hatch. This is catered, so he is incredibly important here to get this open. Oh, down comes Sandals, as nobody's been paying attention to what's going on in Attic, and he'll get up Mystic.
Unfortunate timing there for Mystic. Just as he was reloading his weapon, Sandals was there to find the kill. Kaiko is trying to find a kill of his own as he's chipped away at the health of Bravado. He's still somehow holding that position despite his shield being negated. Kosa, who ran around the map, now back on site, finds a kill of his own before Mitch answers back with a refrag. That's the first body for Vybn to fall. Kosa, though, is on quite low HP. He should be playing a little bit cautiously now, as he doesn't have his C4, still has his AUG, though, to make an impact in the last 15 seconds of this round. Minted eliminates Kaiko. It's a 3v3. Back and forth once again between these two teams. 2v2. It's just going all the ways right now, and in the end, Figure is the last one left alive. Minted has to plant right now. It's 0-0-0, and a perfectly timed shot there from Figure, just waiting for the clock to absolutely run out before taking the head off the planter, and that's another round for Vybn.
My goodness. Yeah, like I want to commend Figure there on his patience, waiting until the clock hits 0 before he puts the diffuser planter down into the dirt. Very, very well played there. Nice to see that he has everything, or he has rather considered everything before taking the shot and potentially instantly getting a refrag from the Maverick, who was trying to cover his planter as best as possible. But it also goes to show that those angles that are being opened up aren't just for show. They are actually for use and come in handy in that late round. 6th pick from the smoke onto the kite once more for Koza, which is quite an interesting play, as in Villa he tended to be the fragger, the man playing support but ending out on top. So seeing him on the support roles is quite interesting, giving Sandals and Dropshot the license to roam, so to speak. Mystic picking up the Twitch is quite interesting. Here's a bit of a Twitch rework as well. She now gets a normal drone as well as her 2 shock drones. So we'll see if the longevity of those drones do come into play later on in the round. We will be defending this meeting and kitchen, which is, I would say, an offside. Usually it's meeting and or kitchen and dining. So let's have a look at how these defenders are going to set up here, as I'm quite interested to see what strats have been employed.
Yeah, Mystic, on that Twitch, it should also be noted that the drones can now jump. So that's a very good addition for any Twitch mains who might have been feeling like they weren't getting any love from Ubisoft, especially after a series of nerfs to the F2. Still one of the more powerful weapons in this game, simply because of how quickly it can shoot bullets and spit lead at the enemy's face. Right now, though, what I'm concerned about is this roam game from Vybn, because last round we saw Corsa just run havoc around the whole map, take pop shots, do whatever he needed to do, and then fall back to site. You can see the same thing happening here. Drop shot, sandals, as well as figure, they're all on this top floor, yet the bomb site is in meeting. So the answer from Bravado, that adaptation that we were talking about, is what's going to make the difference right now. If it's going to be another flurry of rounds for Vybn, or whether Bravado are going to start mounting the comeback that they had. I can't speak right now. English has stopped working. Whether they're going to start mounting the comeback that they had promised us and shown us in Villa.
This aggression coming out from Sandals on these windows is reminiscent of a game that I watched him and Dropshot play on Consulate, where everything was a bullet hole peak and everything was spawn peak. Gunfights were just taken left, right, and center, and he was just winning everything. Figure is on the receiving end of some airmail coming through from the master bedroom. He's very low HP. And now Twitch will be moving up to take this map control back. Divan gets one onto Figure, cleans him up. He was already low HP, as we've noted. But who else is left up top here? Who else is defending the top level of Oregon? It is, in fact, Dropshot, as I mentioned, with that Vector. He's going to get rid of the Yannick, but now they know that there's a Goyo playing behind this Goyo shield. He is also Jackalping. He will get rid of the shield. Mist will only take a bit of damage from the fire, but he will persist. It is now a 2v5 in favor of Bravado. And I can't see this going any other way but their way. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see. You can never write off any of these teams. Very nice shot there from Minted as he cleans Sandals up. There's the drop from the Jackal and last alive. It's a flawless round as Airy gets the last pick there. M4 in hand. Well played to Bravado. Well executed. My goodness. Vybn, how are they going to deal with this attack if they are going to have to go to this offsite every so often?
At this point, it's anybody's guess, honestly, but I want to take my hat off and congratulate Bravado on, I think, showing me what I was asking for, that adaptation, that waking up, that coordination. Because on round number 4, when Vybn won Laundry, they had a change in how they were attacking. At first, round number 1, they just kind of went for Freezer and Laundry Stairs take and nothing else. But on round number 4, they chose to go through that attic, the tower, and we saw how much of a contention that was. And also, in construction, where despite the heavy utility investment of ADS's magnets and so on, they still tried to push it directly. And on that previous round as well, the round we just witnessed, the coordination on getting rid of those roamers on the top floor is something to be commended, because they had Twitch drones, they had drones, nades, everything was just kind of perfectly timed. And Mystic peeking where he needed to around the shield where Dr. Dropshot wasn't expecting, the shield itself being exploded, the Goyo shield. It was just beautiful to see them slowly work their way in getting rid of the roamers that were on that top floor. Things are going to change now a little bit as we go back to kids' dorms. So going through the full gamut of all the bomb sites on this map.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see the kitchen dining, the ugly stepchild, so to speak, of Oregon. Divan will get the lead-off pick, and that will be Sandals off the board. That has been your clutch player so far if you are Vybn Esports. Twitch F2 rings out and Koza off the board as well, as the fire rate proves to be too much this time for the rogue Wamai, who tried to venture down the dorm stairs but was cleaned up quite swiftly. Now Tycho is holding out inside of kids' dorms and Dropshot is still below, so his roam is going to have to come into play here. He's going to have to try and get a pick to bring his team back into it. Now this needs to be addressed from the attackers. They need to make sure that their roam clear has been effected correctly and 100% complete before they move forward. He doesn't have any impacts, however, so he can't do much in the way of planting now. So it's going to be up to Figure to hold the fort for the time being. There is still a C4 in the hands of Kaiko. let's see how long he lasts out here. Dropshot does find Divan, and that has been one of the primary fragments from the previous map off the board. Maverick getting to work on the foosball ball. And there's some rogue bullet traces flying through here. Nothing being hit, and Mystic in a bit, or not Mystic, rather, Fig in a bit of a crossfire as he is cleaned up. Kaiko will get a refrag though onto Minted, but it's a 2v3, and there's still a Jackal on the board. Things are not looking good for Vybn, and as I say that, Mitch decides to show up with that C7E.
Dr. Dropshot top of white stairs on the retake on this roam, falling back to site. A grenade will temporarily lock him out as the diffuser has been successfully deployed onto the floor, as well as Mitch. So it's now a 1v2. Suddenly a little bit more winnable, but not so much the case when you have players like Mystic and Eerie on the other end, and the crossfires there are just too much for Dr. Dropshot to deal with, and he is felled to the ground. And once again, it's the same story of Vybn starting off strong, Bravado waking up and picking up steam. The sides switch, and it's an even split between the two teams. 3 apiece is good stuff if you are a fan of either of these teams. Not so much if you're the players, because right now the pressure has started to set in. Mental fatigue, I would bet, as well. And it's going to be up to who steps up. Who is more resilient? Who can ride it out? If this is going to go all the way to the end, like we saw Villa, it's going to be about that endurance training.
I knew the drop shot was not going to stick that, Monty. Imagine having one of your best players, your best gunfight takers on D. I cannot imagine the wasted potential that would be. But no, he will get the Twitch up instead. Are we seeing a comeback of Twitch in our meta? I'm not too certain. Don't know how useful she is. Just in general, her utility is obviously quite quickly dealt with. I mean, most of these players are very capable of just shooting a drone rolling around on the floor, especially one as bulky as that Twitch drone. But maybe they're just playing her for her gun. We'll have to wait and see. Now, this is going to be a double dorms setup for Bravado. And it's actually pretty similar to what we saw coming out from Vybn. You've got the rotate through towards the white stairs. You've got some sight lines opened up and a rotate from attic through into kids' dorms. They are still being mute jammers and a Mozzie, quite notably. So doubling down on the drone denial. And I know Kanye is probably watching this. He'll be a fan. Alibi being played with that 1.5 times on the MX4 Storm. The fire rate absolutely ridiculous, making her all the more viable, especially if you're a roamer, and especially if you're someone that enjoys gunfights as much as Divan does.
Absolutely. The first gunfight for this round, though, goes into the favor of Bravado. As Kosa, star player from last round, he's gone off the board. That's the Maverick as well. So no more hard destruction to get those attic walls open. Dr. Dropshot, though, gets the refrag immediately onto Divan. So star players are off, and nice shots coming out in the chat, as there are nice shots indeed. You said that the setup from Bravado is similar to the Vybn one, but they don't have a Goyo, which is something that Vybn were bringing, I think, pretty much every single round. So they still have fewer shields. They still have one right here in Trophy Room that Eerie is playing beautifully. He does have to fall back, though, as the nade comes sailing through, gets rid of it, I am pretty sure.
Yeah, and a nice adaptation that could be looked into from the defenders is, instead of playing a Jaeger behind that shield, you could play a smoke to keep at bay the push coming through from the mainstays and from the bedroom. But that was a idea for another time, as there's a 4v4 with half the round now gone. Still drones rolling around here. We saw how quickly the Twitch drone was dispatched off, like I mentioned earlier. And here come the Yana and the Nomad. A quick 2k for Figure as he cleans up onto Minton, and Airy just wipes them off of the board. That's the mute and the Jaeger gone. The utility would have been deployed, so not too much lost except in terms of bodies. Drop shot on the double window with that F2 is a demon. You can see sitting here on about 55 HP. He will clean up onto the Alibi hologram. Mitch does get a refrag though, but it is a 1 versus 3. Kaiko's getting that diffuser down, and that's all she wrote as Mitch goes for the jump out and gets shut down quite instantaneously as Vybn trade back again against Bravado as we go round for round. I think it's 4-3 now, yes.
So that last round, those last few seconds in the kill cam, showing us why Vybn are bringing the Twitch, Dr. Dropshot wreaking havoc with that F2, completely shredding into the last remaining defender from Bravado. It's going to be Kids Doms once again, as they will attempt to fix a few mistakes on that last round and take a win for themselves. I just want to say that these two teams, they have been playing marvelously. And if you thought the first map rather, was difficult to call, just take a look at this one. It's 4-3, and don't let the kill counts on the scoreboard scare you into thinking it's not going to be as explosive as the last round. Kosa walked away from Villa with a 20 bomb. I wouldn't be too surprised if he does the same thing here.
I don't know, it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. He's currently going 2-5, so not having the impact that we saw just yet on Villa in those Tuscan halls, but it has been drop shot waking up, going 9-4, giving Uncle Koza a break there, you know, saying, it's okay, I'll take this map, you had the last one. I'll pull through for the carry, but we'll have to see what Bravado can do to stunt that. Mystic currently 8-3. Divan again a bit slow to wake up here, and the rest of the team pitching in just to help wherever possible. Now a narrow angle there opened up by Dropshot, trying to shoot all the way through in towards the meeting double doors, but does not hit the shots. Neither of them do, as everyone is still 100 HP. The drone phase still rolling around here, as these defenders are just waiting, biding their time, baiting an attacker into their crosshairs. Will have to wait. There's a lot of roam presence here towards meeting and towards the back of Attic as well. And actually, having a look at it now, majority of the attackers are still outside of the map, which is quite interesting. They have to start getting in, get some more map control so they can start getting this roam clear underway. We can see Divan now rotating up towards Attic. He does hear that the drone has come in, and that there goes the C4. Does it connect? It's airmail. It does not, as the repel is quickly jumped off of by the player on at T3. Now another rotate down below, as this roam game is literally just here to waste as much time as possible to stop Vybn from setting up their execute. I do like the use of the alibi behind the shield. It obstructs the vision somewhat. You can see the Jaeger flame just behind. So acting as that double peak sort of mentality, seeing what gets shot first, the hologram or the player hiding just behind it, behind that shield figure, will be the first to drop a kill onto Airy, and that is the Jaeger off the board. Nice pushes. Minted gets figure as he tries to push in through towards Foosball, and things are about to pop off.
It's the last minute of this round to go, and it's a 4v4 as only Eerie and Figure have been dropped to the board. This position that Sandals is in is where we saw Figure getting two kills in the last round. See whether he's able to work the same magic this time. Dr. Dropshot is dropped himself. Mitch adds on to the kill feed as Kosa is gone as well. So it's looking like it's going to be a tied scoreline here for Bravado, as Divan makes it aggressive getting into the games room, but Sandals is there to find him. 36 seconds to go. Sandals is bragging out right now, but he has the diffuser. Kaiko, on the other hand, in Attic, the attackers are a little bit separated, but so are their defenders right now. So that favors them as they are one man up. Kaiko now using the shield to his advantage, working against the defenders as he's in Attic here. It comes down to the last 15 seconds. Kaiko now is inside. It's closer to Sandals. Maybe that's the cover he was waiting for before he goes for the plant. But Mystic and Minted make quick work of them. And there we have it. 4-4.
Yeah, tactical timeout coming out from Vybn, just trying to collect themselves as we go round for round once more. Quite interesting was to note that Sandals actually had the diffuser inside of Closet, but he didn't exactly have the best entrance point. The angles were covered, and Kaiko had to move through the Attic to try and cover him, but I don't think he was quite aware of the mute presence inside of Double Domes. We saw them playing chicken a little bit earlier, but the swing came out, and in terms of trades, it was always going to go towards the defenders, just because, you know, the third defender up there was in fact the time, and having one of your gunners have to put the diffuser down makes it a technical 1 versus 2, and that's always going to be incredibly difficult to fight up against. It looks like our next site will be laundry and supply. We'll see that for the first time. I believe it is for Bravado. They are bringing a Malusi as well. So I like to see that there's a bit of variation here coming out from the new defending team. And 4-4, we really, really can't call this. Are we going to OT again?
I wouldn't be surprised if we went all the full rounds in regulation time and then overtime as well. Because, like we said earlier, none of these teams letting up an inch without fighting to the bone, sweating, bleeding, and crying their way up to the very last round on Villa. Is the story going to be the same here on Oregon? We'll find out as the tactical timeout is now over. That was called by Vybn, but what that also means is that Bravado got a tactical timeout of sorts of themselves. It gives them time to take a deep breath, calm down, talk with their coach, talk with each other, and find out what is it that we need to improve on. Is there a mistake we're making? How are we losing rounds? How are we winning rounds? How can we make things as difficult as possible for Vybn to walk away with a 2-0? Because if you're not aware, this is a best of 3. This is our first semi-final of the day. The first map rather went to Vybn. That was Villa. It went 8-7 all the full 15 rounds.
A lot of investment now in towards garage and towards that elbow section. We saw Malusi planting a Banshee out there to assist the player who's going to be playing on that rotate into site, and just with, I would assume, with an ADS. I mean, I would have liked to see a Wamai play there. Obviously, Wamai is the best operator to have on that elbow, just because his magnets keep regenerating. You hold it for a little bit longer than the Smoke might. Smoke will likely have to use his Toxic Babes to keep these attacks at bay. He's actually going to relocate, and I'm not entirely certain why this rotate has been called now for the Smoke to drop his shield and move it back. He has to give up his position on elbow. I don't think it's being pressured at this point in time, but there is a drone to give out this information. Now, as I say that, Dropshot has picked up the Jackal, so he will be the roam clear, or the designated roam clear, rather, for Vybn. He's made his way all the way through towards meeting. Now, I'd actually like to have a look here at the basement just to see if anything is being done about this elbow. They've fallen off of it, and I'm not sure that's the best play, to be honest. Maverick getting to work now on the hatch. There is the late reinforcement, so nothing being done down there. Mystic playing below this hatch as it's being Maverick open above his head. Oh my goodness, playing with actual fire, and that's not a pun just because Maverick has a blowtorch, just because he is in fact playing with fire.
Yeah, a bit of a risky play there for Mystic to be making, but maybe a risk is what you need right now, because like we said, we saw that utility being rotated away from elbow, and I'm not entirely sure either why that call came through. Maybe the IGL will speak to us sometime and tell us what necessitated that call. Maybe they saw the push is coming from a different side. But to the best of my knowledge right now, Kaiko and the rest of his team are still on this side of the map, trying to take Big Tower, trying to take construction. The Toxic Babes start getting tossed out. There are 2 more left, which equates to about 30 seconds or so of time that can be wasted. Mystic eats a nade up, absolutely tanks the damage that is left on a breath of HP. Sandals, on the other hand, though, is dropped down. Mystic is getting aggro here. He might find this ace with the reload. He does figure is gone. 3v5. Bravado are playing this very tightly. They have so much man advantage, and the time is still very heavily on their favor. Gets even better for them as Divan on this roam finds Kaiko. That's the diffuser dropped as well. He's going to camp it, and Mystic is called in to assist. It's up to Kosa right now against the world with his M4. No needs to work with either. 12 seconds to make something happen.
Sometimes it's the little things in Siege that that you love to see. That I was watching, I watched the Jaeger push up through to the elbow here, and he knew that the ace was in the corner, but just seeing that the magazine was thrown out to confirm that he was in fact in the corner makes that pre-fire all the more special and the intel all the more plentiful for that little kill that we saw come out there. Divan getting a 3k with the Vector in that round, playing out from the attic stairs. Interesting that that wasn't addressed, as like we said, attic has tended to be quite the focal point, or not rather than attic. The big tower was a focal point in the previous split. So interesting that he wasn't dealt with, especially when there was a Jackal on the board. I just wonder about this roam clear coming out from Vybn, but I can't write them off. It's only a 1 round deficit. They are more than capable of running it right back here and taking the lead once more. But technically, Bravado are only 2 rounds away from picking up a map here against Vybn and taking us to our very third map. We will see kitchen and dining, something that we didn't see from Vybn. So some different sort of strategies being employed by Bravado. And let's have a look at how they set up. I've seen this before with this double Goyo shield inside a bathroom. Usually it's played with a mirror, but of course, mirror is banned. So it'll be a little bit less defensible and a little bit less intel for whoever plays inside of lockers.
Interested as to why Bravado have decided to go to kitchen and dining instead of meeting and kitchen. And maybe it's because of that setup that you alluded to earlier in the bathroom. You have a lot of flexibility in how you choose to play it. You could double reinforce those walls that look into small tower. You could leave one open. You could do what Bravado have done here, which is open feet holes at the bottom. There's a lot of flexibility into how you can set up that site. But of course, it's only going to matter in so much as you're able to hold the rest of the map. When we see Killstone starting to fall away, it's going to be a lot of pressure on the bomb site itself. So maybe Bravado have gone here because of that flexibility. Maybe it's also because I feel like meeting is a little bit of a smaller bomb site, not too much you can play around with here. And the first kill went into the favor of Bravado, and the second one as well, as that C4 hits home. Eerie using his camera in textbook fashion. I just loved to have witnessed that. We saw him get on the camera, got the intel, placed the C4, boom. 5v3 easy for his team right now. They are once again in the lead.
Wow. I can't believe that Valkyrie camera wasn't spotted out. Was it a Valkyrie? Yeah, it was a Valkyrie camera.
Yeah.
Wasn't spotted out there in small tower. Usually that would be quite well scouted because everyone knows that you need to go up top into small tower to get rid of any denial or flush out any anchors playing up close on that dining wall. Now we can have another Valkyrie camera here placed to assist the Goyo in his quick peaks here above the server area. Because it looks like he's primed to get to work on this wall, which is waiting for some assistance here from the diffuser holder, which is Kaiko. Kaiko currently going 1-7, so not great. Mystic gets Kaiko, but it is a complete trade as they both hit their headshots, and Koza moves to pick up the diffuser. It is now 2 versus 4. Things are not looking great for Vybn as Bravado look to inch ever closer to this map. I do wonder if this was their map pick, because it certainly looks like it. Koza gets the pick onto Divan though, trying to bring back, and Dropshot answers the call as well from his captain as he goes 2 for 2. Both sides have players up, and Dropshot takes the alignment. He will go for the hip fire, will not hit. Where are the gunshots coming from? He doesn't know. He does get picked, or spotted rather, by the camera, and there is a drone just so that his teammates can call out the rotate behind him. He's right there. Does he know? No, he doesn't. Mitch gets the pick with the SMG-11. Diffuser is going down from Koza, but they are not in a space to deny it, and it is down. M4 in hand. Koza looks to fight against the wall. M590 coming through here from Mitch. Minted quickly coming back with that Vector in hand as well. There goes the first smoke, babe. The drone does spot out Minted in the hallway. Where is Koza holding this out from? How are they going to play for this retake? He's going to make a Maverick roll, and he's going to see anything. He won't just yet, but he will stop them from going for that defuse. Now, the air jab catches one. Will it catch another? Will he even see him? He does. Koza with the clutch. Absolutely phenomenal scenes here. And a heads-up play by the captain to allow himself the angle for the peek onto the Goyo. Well played.
Oh, well played indeed. I don't think I could say anything else that would top that. And I also love how coordinated we were witnessing Vybn playing on that round. Kosa and who was it? His teammate Kaiko, when they were together in that little split going into meeting. they were waiting for one another. Hey, I'm about to open this wall. I need you to shoot the guy on the other side. The thing is, the guy on the other side was minted, and we saw a complete one-for-one trade there. And it's just beautiful to witness. And what a clutch from Kosa. Beautiful heads-up play, like you said, Luther. And we are tied once again. Surprise, surprise. 3-3 we tied as we went from the first half, and then 4-4, and now 5-5. 3 times that these teams have just brought it back, and seemingly none of them is able to get the advantage over the other. Right now we'll be going back to kids' dorms, and a lot of shields are being brought out from Bravado. No Goyo shields this time, but still more than enough to make a difference in how they choose to hold this. Again, with those alibi holograms behind the shields, like you said, making it a little bit difficult for the attacker to find out who exactly he's shooting at. It's not very easy to get rid of that alibi prisma either, because its base is covered by the shield. So projectile play will have to come in hand here. My goodness. Devon, we were saying how he hadn't woken up. Look at him right now, 8 in 7, and he starts things off by eliminating Kaiko, who's the Nomad as well. So air jobs gone, flashbangs eliminated as well.
This is a 5,000 IQ big brain lobby that we found ourselves in here. And my goodness, what a game it has been. This map proving to be everything that Villa was so far. And wow, absolutely phenomenal scenes here. Now, there you can see the Mozzie Pest coming into effect, denying that bit of information. Denying the bit of information out into Trophy, but you know what's going to happen? Dropshot's just gonna walk in. He's like, I'm just gonna assume that it's clear. Yeah, I'll get rid of the Mozzie Pest for you. Don't you worry, little drone. He will pre-fire the alibi hologram though, and that will give away his presence. With some handy dandy Maverick blowtorch work, the mute jammer will be dispatched of on that attic wall, and now that means the ace can move through and open things up. Figured it make the kill a bit earlier on in the round, and the alibi has met herself an early end in this round. Now, Koza is playing up against this attic wall. He's priming that grenade to send it all the way through down into attic. Will it connect? No, it won't even do a single lick of damage to anybody that is defending the area. Now, a lot of pressure coming from Trophy. You can see the focal point here is, of course, still the attic. We have 2 defenders still watching it, playing from that B bomb site. There is a rotate. Of course, he's going to have to challenge through here. Now, he's going to prep a grenade, possibly roll it through. No, not to be the case. Pre-fly goes through. Also does not connect, but does give the defenders the sound cue that he is there. He's going to use the grenade. Oh my goodness, what a pre-fire. It's a wall bang, and it is a common anchor spot that Kozak finds an easy kill unsightedly as well. Airy gets a pick onto Figure, and Kozai hits the deck as well. Now, a flank coming up from Sandals, and in no quick time, it will be all 3 of the fraggers from Vybn dropping heads, dropping bodies, and increasing their round count ever so slightly.
Absolutely brilliant. What else can you really say? This is top tier siege that we are witnessing right now. Vybn on match point. This, I think, is the first time, or rather, they have gotten to match point before Bravado. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I think that's easier to understand, even for me. So good on them on that last round. And I want to quickly highlight on that last round how the mute and the Twitch interaction has been going so far. So we were like, why are they really bringing Twitch? Not too useful because the drone can be easily shot out. You could make the argument it's being brought out to shoot the mute jammers, which themselves aren't that big of an issue if it comes to hard breaching a wall, because they are more intended to deny information than to deny walls. That's why they got the little rework where they don't fully cover 2 reinforced walls. So that little counterplay is always nice to see. Like to see how teams choose to bring counters to each and every operator that is in this game.
Yeah, so we're now going to the basement, and Vybn, like you said, see themselves on map point and on match point in what has been a tremendous effort here from Bravado, trying to stunt the growth of these Vybn stack, this 5 stack, and they will have to do it for at least another round to try and get us to OT. Now, we can see that what is going on here from Bravado? Where is the setup? There's a rush coming through from the Vybn stack. They've gotten one, but they've been instantly traded off. There's a pre-fire through into Freezer, will not connect. Now we can see another pick as the Rooney does drop, but Minton gets instantly refragged from Koza. It is a 3v3. Another one hits the deck as Mister gets one drop shot on another refrag. Unrelated. 30 seconds, 40 seconds have now passed, and we only have 4 players left alive. Vybn looking to finish things off and finish things off with a bang. Diffuser is down, however, by the pillar and is likely being guarded now by Divan, who is still playing in this Freezer. Dropshot has made his way down the main stairs. He's going to be pushing through into Laundry. The cross is there from Koza. Looking through down to pillars. He needs to retain that diffuser in order to push this round even further. Dropshot does get one as he pushes all the way into Laundry. He's waiting for the push from behind. That's Mystic off the board. His last live is Divan. He needs to be popping off here. He has 100 HP. He has the 416C in hand. Koza is getting the diffuser down, but where is the angles being held? It's only Dropshot who needs to hold it, and the pre-fire sends Vybn into the finals. GG is called in chat, and what a phenomenal game, what a phenomenal rush, and what a phenomenal call from the Vybn captain to seal things off here in the semi-finals between Bravado and Vybn Esports.
My word, what a game we have witnessed. Vybn Esports versus Bravado. In the end, it's Koza, Dr. Dropshot, and the rest of his team who are able to come out on top of it, securing themselves, like you said, a spot in the finals next weekend. 2-0. That scoreline is not at all representative of how the games went. It wasn't quick. It was a fight to the very end. And good job on Bravado for providing us with such entertaining gameplay and providing Vybn with a run for their money.
I have to admit, Koza gets the MVP for me across this map. My goodness, he has single-handedly rescued Vybn more times than I can count, and is a testament to the player that he is and the IGL that he is. What a great call from him as well for that rush in the end. But without any further ado, that is the map. It is 2-0 to Vybn Esports. Next game will be at, I think it's 6 o'clock or 6:30 or so, 6:30, and Olympus will be back on this. I will not be, but thank you very much for joining us. But I will see you guys in the semi-final later on. I will be in chat. I'll be hyping things up there with you guys as well. Olympus, anything from you, sir?
I just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to watch and to cast with you, Luther.
Thank you very much. Then we are done here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you a bit later.
Bye.